Hello, my sweet dear magical friends. Welcome back to the channel of channels. Today, we're going to take a look at the Mercury retrograde through the signs of Leo and Virgo. We're going to do an overview. Stick around for that so we can see everything all at once. Patrons, make sure to use your journals. Take a look, you guys. These journals, I did a landscape mode for this Mercury retrograde journal and I'm loving it. It's so beautiful, so pretty. Wait, actually, let me just show you. So as you can see, this is an absolutely beautiful Mercury retrograde journal. We have the calendar, we have space for journaling, we've got all the degrees, we've got all the events. So basically, you want to use this. Okay, this is what's going to help you more than absolutely anything else. So you don't have to have a fancy schmancy Patreon digital download to use in your GoodNotes app or any other kind of app. You can also just use a regular journal. I like to use one notebook for everything. It's kind of like a big everything journal. That's why I am so passionate about document control, because I like to do big drops of creativity or information, and then I'll go back and organize it. I am Natalie, spelled Natalee, and I will be guiding us through this overview, the tips and tricks that help me with Mercury, any kind of energy, but especially on Mercury retrogrades. We're going to go through all of the aspects, and then we will take it through the consciousness carousel that is the zodiac. So, I actually do want to start with the coping mechanisms because Mercury retrogrades are times that could be mentally stressful for people. And you know what? Life is already stressful enough. We don't need to add on to it. So Mercury retrogrades about 3 to 4 times every single year. 3 to 4 times every single year. And this is a wonderful opportunity. And what that tells us, like planets retrograde, but like this is a very, very frequently retrograde planet. So that tells us that it's beneficial for us to continually check ourselves. It's beneficial. It behooves us to be self reflective mentally, to work astrology and work the energy of astrology the best that we possibly can. So, right off the bat, I want you to organize your mind with the openness to change it for the better, to feel better in your mind, to have a better life experience in your own head, because no one can do that work for you. You have to do it yourself. So, this is one of the things. And listen, being psychic or having an ability has absolutely nothing to do with mental health. It has absolutely nothing to do with mental strength. They're totally different things. So, that's why you have a lot of emotional instability, psychosis, spiritual psychosis. You have a lot of people in the loony bin or that have been institutionalized because they have ability, because they have the sensitivity that it takes to be psychic. Because all psychic is, how I would define it, is just like sensitive, extreme sensitivity. You're sensitive to more of the vibrational spectrum that everyone else is already, that we're all already experiencing. So to have like that psychic ability without mental acuity, without mental prowess, could be psychologically damaging. It could be harmful, it could be hurtful, and it could lead people, into a psychosis. It could I'm okay, so there's what movie? I think it's called The Pledge. I think it's called The Pledge with Jack Nicholson. Okay, spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Pledge. I'm going to spoil it. So skip this section if you need to skip it. So in The Pledge, I forgot like I only remember like the big ending. So, but basically Jack Nicholson like knows who did the crime. Like he knows like who did the murders and stuff. And something about like I know he's going to have like this black Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee, and he's going to do this on this day, and this is the killer and this is who it is. And he sets up, organizes like this whole big thing, and like they all go up and like nothing happens. No one's there, and he's like he goes crazy at the end. Like he's like, oh, and then the guy that he was working with is driving like back from like something, but on the side of the road, there's this black Jeep Cherokee that got into a car accident. It's like burst into flames and stuff. So it's almost like, sure, you can be psychic or have abilities. And depending on what your ability is, that's how like people could be really going like stir crazy or getting really mentally mentally just upset, or I'm thinking of the I'm thinking of the astrologer who perished in Los Angeles. She something with like a breakup with a boyfriend, and there were children involved, and there was something with the highway. I'm thinking about her specifically, but this can apply to anyone, whether you're interested in astrology or spirituality or not. Okay. But it is heightened that you need mental strength so much more when you are spiritual, when you do energy work, when you have psychic ability, when you are trying to learn how to astral project or lucid dream or telekinesis, anything like that. I'm just telling you guys, 110%, you absolutely need something. It doesn't have to be what I'm about to talk about, but you need something, conscious decision, something to take care of your mind and build up your mental strength, not just mental health, mental strength. Okay. So what I do, and I discovered this at the end of last summer, Stoicism, Stoic philosophy. So I'm going to share with you guys my morning routine. So my morning journaling routine, I'm a writer. I write a lot. It's my thing. We all know that already. Oh, unless you're new, I'm a writer. I love writing. I do all the things. I started acting and I was into dance. I wanted to be like J-Lo. I remember I was like an itty bitty little one, and I saw that she had like the number one film, the number one album, like the number one film album, and there was like something else, like all in a week. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. So I cannot sing. That's not, I can do a lot of things. I cannot sing. Anyway, so this is what I do. This is my morning routine. I love writing. And so even if you don't love writing, try to just get into it, because just do it without having any kind of emotional hang up about it. Just force yourself to do it. Discipline. So this is Marcus Aurelius's morning routine. Marcus Aurelius is like the greatest Roman emperor like ever. He kept a diary, a journal, never thought he was going to get it like published or anything. And he just, but it's like this inside look into how a ruler keeps his mind. I love it. And guys, just so you know, I'm a Capricorn. I have a Capricorn stellium. If there's anyone that has thought about power and leadership and building and success more, you're not going to find them. It's Capricorns. Capricorn, Capricorn style, Capricorn, sun, moon, rising, whatever. That is us. So long as you have ethics along with your ambition, and so long as everything that you're doing is in your lane and doesn't have anything to do with messing up anybody else, you're fine. You're great. Be as ambitious and big and bold and bright and strive and work hard. Guys, all of these like new moons and full moons and all the astrology and how to use it and everything, I don't like pick different things in my life like, oh, this new moon is in this sign, so I'm going to do something like that. No, I have singular focuses and singular goals, like one goal, and I'll use all the astrology and I'll fit it. How can I use this to advance this goal? Even if it's not direct, like a sign or a planet or anything that has anything to do specifically with my goals, I will find something indirectly that can support that goal from, okay, I'm a Capricorn. So, okay, Marcus Aurelius's morning routine. Marcus Aurelius, this was his way of reinforcing the Stoic principles and understanding his own actions and navigating life's complexities. And so if he's doing it, I'm doing it. So you basically, and another thing about like success and ambition, you don't want to measure success by just solely by what you achieve, but you want to measure your success by how you act and think and respond and exist in the world. How do you move through the world? That is part of your success. Okay. Not just like achieving the goal, but like who you are and the character that it has built in you. Okay. So, number one. Okay, first of all, Stoicism. Let's take out some of the judgments. Stoicism at its core underscores the difference between what we can control and what lies beyond our sphere of influence. Again, coming back to the ambition. So the goals that we have in our lives sometimes tie us to external outcomes that may sometimes be outside of our control. So for me, Stoic journaling and Stoicism and Stoic philosophy helps me refocus and re-put my intentions back into my sphere of influence, and I bring my power back, and I refocus on what I can control. Very empowering. Number 1, reflect upon the fleeting essence of your incarnation. Think about your life. Number 1, meditate on the impermanence of all things. See the whole universe flowing through you like breath. Comprehend the preciousness and brevity of our being. This helps underscore the value of each day, helps us prioritize what truly matters, and it helps keep our focus on what truly matters over trivial distractions and conflicts. Number 2, journal for self-examination, for grounding, for archiving, for catharsis. First thing in the morning, jot down your initial unvarnished thoughts, free of judgments. This initial spillage is akin to sweeping fallen leaves from a courtyard. So I do it like in whole little parts, as you can see. So what I wrote, my first day Stoic journaling, September the 20th, 2023. I want to control my mind totally, absolutely, and completely. I want that strength and control over myself. I hate when I'm in an obsession that's causing me deep pain and takes me away from joy and my creativity and my ambitions. I resent it when I allow trivial distractions and conflicts to dilute my power. I go on, but you get the idea. Number 3, make a list of 3 things for which you feel genuinely grateful. Anything small, or sometimes if I can't think of 3 things, and I always pick, like, I'm grateful that I have the day, grateful for a new day of life, a fresh, clean slate, a brand new start, a new day dawning. I wrote, I am grateful for a new day that dawns for me. I am grateful that for today I have a home at least. I'm grateful to have less people and more profound love. Number 4, reflect on yourself. Contemplate a Stoic principle or reflect on a personal challenge. So I use this space to talk about or write about something that happened. If I need to detangle something or work through something, or I'll reflect on something in my character or about myself, or I will reflect on one of the Stoic principles that I want to incorporate more of. And that's what I did for this one. So for me, contemplate a Stoic principle, reflect on a personal challenge, ask myself questions. I picked the Stoic principle temperance. I can not only judge and measure my success by what I achieve in the world, but also by how I act, respond, and exist in the world. I've always been extreme. Of course, I scare people, but I can try to integrate the Stoic principle of temperance to become more balanced and moderate myself. I wrote that a lot about measuring success by thing. Okay, so ask yourself questions. Am I living in alignment with my values? Where did I act impulsively rather than rationally? How can I improve today? Number 5, set a focus for your day through your journal. This is so important. And this is so much more than just doing it mentally. You really want to go through the whole exercise of doing all the parts of the journal and going accordingly. It's just more effective that way. It'll stick with you and it'll really be alive with you throughout the entire day. Write a straightforward affirmation or commitment based on Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This focus serves as your moral compass guiding your actions and decisions throughout the day. These are daily focuses, not rigid goals. So I wrote for myself, today's focus to serve as my moral compass and guiding my actions and decisions throughout the day will be temperance in action and application. While both focuses, intentions, and goals direct our paths, they do so in fundamentally different ways. Goals focus on the future, fixating on outcomes, achievements, and results. They serve as destinations to reach. Focuses, intentions, conversely, illuminate the journey. They act as anchors in the present moment, deeply rooted in our values and the person we aspire to become. They are daily affirmations of our personal values, conscious choices that dictate how we navigate the world, regardless of external circumstances. Number 6, reflect on the type of day you aim to experience. Instead of fixating on specific tasks to accomplish, ask yourself, who do I intend to be today? Write them down. I embrace courage, confronting challenges head on and stepping beyond my comfort zone. I will approach conflicts with understanding. I will find moments of serenity amidst the chaos. These are not mere tasks to check off, but reminders of the character you aspire to manifest. Daily compass, guiding decisions, and behaviors. By setting daily focuses and intentions, you commit not to specific outcomes, but to virtues. This is what I tell people on my team. I say, I don't want you to be loyal to me. I want you to be loyal to the virtues that we all believe in, that we share. Be loyal to integrity. If you're loyal to, I'm loyal to integrity. If you're loyal to integrity, we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. Regardless of the day's unpredictability, you maintain a clear vision of your personal journey. The way I wrote it down in my journal was, who do I intend to be today? And I wrote, today I will meet any challenges, obstacles, disappointments, or conflicts with a pause. I will give myself as much space as I need before responding to it. I will meditate on my initial reactions of how I feel so that I may understand myself first and why I am being affected in such a way. Then I will nurture any hurt feelings, assuage any worries, or quell any rage. Finally, I will be able to shift my focus to purely mental. I will devise the absolute best strategy to deal with whatever has come up. When I have thought it through and am confident, then I will act. And you don't have to do this part. I did this part where I wrote notes from the tarot on temperance because there is an actual temperance tarot card. You guys will see it every time during Sagittarius's turn for the reads. That is the archetype of Sagittarius, and that is like the major arcana tarot card specifically for Sagittarius. So here's what I wrote. The temperance card in the tarot, it's just like a little meditation. The temperance card in the tarot is one of vibration or radiant energy, of the tempering and modification. I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. The temperance card in the tarot is one of vibration or radiant energy, of the tempering and modification of experience. Key 14, foundation of the mind. Temperance appears when one has, in large measure, mastered one's own thoughts and achieved mental balance. There is nothing in the cosmos but vibration, and all forms of vibration can be modified and managed by the adept. Our guardian angel makes the tests and trials that lead us along the path of attainment. As we learn to transfer the life force from the imagination, the moon, into the activity of the conscious, the sun, the will is developed and the imagination purified, so that in pouring from the silver cup to the golden one, we lose nothing. Successful combinations will be achieved with key 14. That's what I want, man. That's what I want. That sounds good to me. That sounds great. Let's do that. Let's do that. That's it for the journaling part, but I have a couple more little notes that went beyond the parts that you're writing down. So, of course, meditate, 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 immersing yourself in Stoic teachings. Of course, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. Let yourself be guided to the passages. If you have like a daily book or an app or YouTube videos, I love the YouTube videos of the Stoicism. Translate the wisdom of the ancients to personal doctrine. Stoicism is a philosophy of action. Each Stoic teaching is a call to action, prompting you to infuse your day with virtue and wisdom. Revisiting Stoic teachings each morning is a daily reaffirmation of your commitment to live with awareness, intention, and virtue. Learning means living in the wisdom. Last but not least, for real, we have Amor Fati, or love of fate. Let Amor Fati be your guiding compass, helping you navigate storms with resilience and sunny days with gratitude. Always moving forward with love for the journey that is life. Nurture your inner transformation. It's a practice. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, how can I grow from this? Or affirm, this is precisely what I needed. This shift in perspective does not trivialize the weight of hardships. It highlights the silver linings, the lessons, and the inner strength that emerges from challenges. Visualize any potential challenges you may encounter today as opportunities for growth, wisdom, and gratitude. Okay, I hope you guys got a kick out of that. I absolutely love. I probably have mentioned it before on the channel, but this is perfect to bring back up again for your Mercury retrograde video. Now, let's get into the aspects. Tuesday, the 16th of July, Mercury enters the shadow at 21 degrees of Leo. We'll be coming back to see this differently. Everything from July the 16th until the 4th of August, when Mercury stations retrograde. Everything from the 16th of July to the 4th of August, we will return to, this is returning, how I like to say, to the scene of the crime. We're going to see these things through a different lens. We're going to have new perspectives. We're going to have new developments. We're going to have to rework some things in these areas. So use your journals. You can use your Mercury retrograde journal a couple different ways. I use my calendar journal as like a dump of everything going on. And then I will use like a specific journal like Mercury retrograde, either specifically for mercurial things like thinking and communications. Who did I email this day, and when did I get this text message, and who sent me this picture, and who did I send that to, that, but also the Virgo and the Leo areas of life. Or you can just do a whole, just write whatever feels like you're like, I feel like I'm going to come back to this later, or anything that you think you might, for good reasons or whatever, to come back to later. Thursday, July the 18th is when Mercury at 23 degrees of Leo trined Chiron at 23 degrees of Aries. That was telling us that something needs more healing. That could have been something kind of painful coming up, but just whatever that was, just let it show you what it was showing you. Like, how did you feel? What was coming up? It's going to come up again. Maybe not those specific people or things or situations, but thematically it's going to come up. Then July the 21st on Sunday, Mercury in Leo squared Uranus in Taurus. I'm not going to talk about anything else other than the Mercury stuff, because there's so much happening outside, and this will overlap with my Mars and Gemini video, and it'll overlap with it. So the weeklies are really the most important ones to see if you want to see everything all at once astrologically. I'm going to do a vacuum here with this Mercury retrograde, but that was the second blue moon that we had in the sign of Capricorn. It was a really big deal. So that was brought with it, with the Mercury square Uranus, a big disruption, and telling us what we're going to have to think differently about or work differently, whether that's how we're thinking, how we're writing, how we're communicating, and how we're publishing, and how we are, like, when I say publishing, that doesn't have to just be like book publishing. This is also like social media publishing anything to the masses, or for someone else to read or think about or consume. Then on Thursday, July the 25th, Mercury entered the sign of Virgo. I felt a huge relief with this one, but just because it just did great things for me because I'm a Capricorn, so I'm an Earth sign energy. But that's when we were already trying to do like damage control, or we were trying to or there was like rapid fire communication, or we were trying to like just take care of it. We're trying, Virgo wants to fix it. Virgo wants to like, okay, let's do it. Let's do this. We can do that. Very flexible. Okay, I got you. I can do this. We need to pivot. I can pivot with you. It's very accommodating in that sense, very flexible and very adaptable. Wonderful, wonderful energy. And it's like we're trying to like fix it. We're trying to organize it and get things going. But there is, whether we know it on a conscious level or not, maybe we know from the disruption that we are going to have to go back and redo something. We are going to have to go back over and, dig up the floors again, or do construction over again, or whatever. But we're like, if something like that's the case, then that Mercury in Virgo was like, okay, well, let's start rebooking things, rebooking people, and reordering materials. But then on August the 4th, the Leo new moon, Mercury stations retrograde. So this is the best for us people here in this like realm of like life experience that are already prepared for a Mercury retrograde. Because if you think about it, people are going forward thinking that all that Mercury and Leo stuff that they were doing, that they're going to move forward on, and they're not going to know until Mercury retrogrades that they're going to be going back. People are out here spending money, people are out here making plans, they're not factoring in that need to go back to the scene of the crime. And we are. So now we know we've got to pause and go march back to Leo. So that moment, that new moon, I keep trying to keep this in a vacuum, in a Mercury vacuum. But that new moon is really going to give us that fresh start to go back. Like I would say like that's when we're at the scene of the crime. Like, okay, we're like, here we are. And so some people, it's going to be a shock. Like, I have to what? I have to go back what? I have to go back and think differently about what? This didn't work out. What? And then those of us that are already prepared, I have projects lined up. I have scripts lined up. Of course, I always get like, but I can't be doing these like, oh, I get all crazy and I write an outline and then I put it in a drawer and then I work on this piece of that over there. I have to be like, so I'm gonna, there's a couple projects that I'm gonna go back to personally that I'm gonna use this Mercury retrograde for. I'm gonna go back to screenwriting and going back to some scripts. So wonderful to go back to any kind of writing assignments or any kind of writing projects, any this would be great to go back and rebrand yourself or to go back and rewrite a presentation. Maybe you do this presentation, you speak at something and you do it every year or whatever. So it'd be great to go back and make it a lot better. Or, so there's some of the stress that may be inherent in this retrograde. We can pull some of it because if it has to be stressful, we have some agency, what we can control, and pull the stress in ways that we want, such as if people are trying to accomplish things like losing weight, gaining muscle mass, whatever. It's like that's stressful. That takes commitment. That takes a lot. So it's like then that's built in, it's caked into the astrology. So try to think of some things that you can go back to, and we'll talk about it for all 12 zodiac signs too. But this is the day. This is the day when Mercury stations retrograde. That's the day that we know that we're going back to something. And we may know more about what that is specifically after that. And then August the 7th rolls around and we have an interesting moment. We have the Mercury retrograde coming backwards over Venus. And this is interesting because this is like last summer Venus was retrograde, so there were, multiple Venus contacts, and this is like Mercury is really just connecting with Chiron and Uranus during this retrograde. This is like the one aberration where Mercury meets with Venus and they hold hands for a little bit. So it's kind of interesting. So what you want to do is there's something like around about August 7th that picks up from talks around the 30th of July, Tuesday, for better or for worse. So this has to do, remember, all of like the Venus stuff is values, it's art, it's relationships, it's money, it's all of like the Venusian things. So it's almost like there's something there. There's some boomerang. They're connected. These 2 days are connected. Let me just put it that way. Okay. On Thursday, the 15th of August, Mercury will retrograde back into Leo. This is okay, here's what's interesting is that there's this, so Leo is the arena of show business, entertainment, and applause, and just being really entertaining. Like you cannot take your eyes away, like the glitz or the glamour or all of just think like all the Hollywood energy, all the Hollywood stuff, like it's mesmerizing. So I think it's so interesting that this is like the tail end of Leo, a little bit of Virgo, then going back into Leo. So that's telling us that when we go back into Leo, this is the arena that we're predominantly going to be revising. Is it beautiful enough? Is it smart enough? Is it entertaining enough? Is it bright enough? Is it showy and flashy enough? Is it, entertaining you want it to, this is something like you want it to be like bubblegum. You want it to be like addictive. You want this to be like me in my head. I'm like I'm thinking of like my scripts, of course, and my stories, but you just want it to pop. You just want these things to just really knock people on their asses with how funny it is, with how entertaining it is, with how clever it is, with how, whatever it is. So that's really going to be what it is. So we're going to take it through the zodiac and see where you need to think bigger, think of yourself with more value, ask for more, ask for the raise that you need, ask for more attention and affection, take your spouse out more for dinner dates, or, have more fun with the kids, or make more money, make more art, and meet new friends, meet new people, date somebody new. Maybe people be meeting some. Okay, this is also for some people going to be like exes and like all that drama. Of course, there's always something that could be like exes coming back on Mercury retrograde. But it could also see a return of these things. So for instance, if you made money from if you made money, maybe I'll get some residuals. Maybe I'll get some more like Batman v Superman residuals. Thank you, Warner Brothers. Thank you, Warner Brothers. I love you so much. But like, but there could be like a return of making money a certain way that has to do with entertainment or beauty. This could be someone goes back to like doing lashes or cosmetic stuff, or, maybe someone, this could be, if this is like Leo's sun or risings, maybe it's like, you go back to a hairstyle that was like, you loved and it was really like poppin', some kind of like renaissance. And I predict that in the industry in Hollywood that this is part of that. This is part of like the renaissance of, okay, we're back online. Here we go. And that's all I'm gonna say with that. Okay. And then after that, on Saturday, the 17th of August, Mercury retrograde, now in Leo, will square Uranus for the second time. The first time was the Capricorn full moon on July the 21st. So this is the second round of it. And I feel like this is the breakthrough moment. This is when something clicks. So there was that first disruption on the Capricorn full moon, but it doesn't have to necessarily be something that's um like it was a track change. Like that was definitely like we had to think about things differently. We had to, get used to new different information. And so this second square, I feel, is a breakthrough where something, it could have been better. So whatever didn't work out or didn't work out the way you wanted or fell through or whatever around that Capricorn full moon at the end of July, this is, it's like it was needing to be elevated. Something had to be elevated. And so that Mercury retrograde in Leo is that, like, here's the thing with Mercury retrograde that you can use it for. This is so great. I use Mercury retrograde to thrift because you could find really valuable things that are very overlooked and no one sees it. And then all of a sudden you're like making a lot of money. You're on an antique roadshow with like a very, very good find. So I feel like this is finding like a diamond in the rough or something. This is like Mercury retrograde in Leo squaring Uranus and Taurus. It's like the second act of that July 21st Capricorn full moon to tell us, like, hey, it's not going to go how you wanted. It's going to be even better. And look at this. This is a shiny, not necessarily new, but it's like a shiny something. So this could be that you, maybe your children loved when you called them a certain nickname, or they loved it when you took them to a certain spot to play, or they loved when you played a certain game with them. This would be like where you surprise them and you break it out again and you take them for the bike ride and go to the spot and go fishing, or you do whatever the thing is. Or maybe I would love this for like a romantic surprise. Okay, so I do like my Christmas shopping, like thinking and listing like in the summer, because I always like to make it like a surprise when people get their Christmas gifts and they're like, "Oh my God, like I totally forgot about this." So this would be really great to bring something like that from the past. Like if this is like a relationship renaissance type of an energy, to bring back something that you guys like to do or fun you like to have or anything like that, and something you guys like to do together. And that could be cool. That could just like it's on this energy, but even though a transit passes, we can keep the energy. We keep the energy like with us. It's up to us to keep it though. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us to, some people just wait through transits. They just wait. They just wait them out and they don't change their consciousness. People can do it's completely within every single human being's free right to do that. But I'm just saying that you can get a lot more out of it. Then on Sunday, the 18th of August, we have the Sun Mercury interior cazimi. If you're a noob, don't worry about that. The cazimi means that it's in the heart of the sun. This is also one of my favorite words. Like, I just love this word so much. Cazimi. Cazimi. This, I feel, okay, so this is when Mercury gets completely reset. And if you are on the Patreon, I love the guide that I made. This is let me just show you real quick. Hold on. I absolutely love what I did with this. I actually made this on a Mercury Cazimi. Funny enough, okay, so Mercury Cazimis, you could like when I do every Mercury Cazimi I've ever had an experience, it's always I get obsessed with an idea, like for a script or a screenplay or a story, or I'm a writer, so there is always some communication thing that I'm obsessed with. There was one Mercury Cazimi where I went to these Illinois county, no, Illinois town, these little towns in Illinois websites. And they had digitized their archives like really like perfectly. And I was going through their archives and finding all of their like psychic, esoteric, spiritual literature. These people, there were like spiritualists in the Middle West that self-published spiritual, psychic literature and things, and just it just never got into a bookstore. It just stayed in their little area. And I went and I downloaded zip file after zip file after zip file, put on my hard drives. Like I just like went crazy, just devouring like all this information. So Mercury cazimis are always like a fire hose of information, or they're big conversations, big weighty conversations, they're big revelations, and personal revelations. They're big moments. It's like when I got obsessed with my script about the plane. Anyway, so you get the idea. Basically, okay, so there's this. So there's like the entire cycle. So this Mercury retrograde is an interior retrograde. It's the cazimi. There's a lot of information here. I understand. It's going to be to the far right next to where it says retrograde. It's going to be psychogogos. After Mercury stations retrograde, we're going to be into the leader of the metamorphosis phase, the psychogogos phase. My favorite is psychopomp. So, and then let me just show you real quick. So we're going to go through this. There's so much that you guys can get. Like there's a lot. And I go, look at what I did. Like I literally did all of this. And then I went through the synodic cycles. It was just a lot. Anyway, so there's absolutely a big aha moment at this Mercury interior conjunction cazimi. This is when we get the answer, but we get the answer because we were able to pinpoint what wasn't working. Like we get to the just the spine. We get to the spine of the issue. We get to the spine of the problem. And it's like an entertainment problem. Like this, for me, I'm just looking at this like, okay, I'm going to go back, work on a script. That's probably, maybe that's when I get, if I'm working on it, making headway, that might be when it all kind of comes together. Maybe there's something that's not quite working, or, whatever. So that's the day you might get the answer. You might pinpoint the problem and just know what to do, and use what you've learned over the past 3 to 4 months so that you can start new. Because it's not just for this past couple of weeks. These are long synodic cycles that last like 3 to 4 months. So you want to learn from everything that you've seen and observed the last 3 to 4 months, and use that wisdom to have a new, fresh kind of clean slate. But this is like very, very, very heady. This is going to be very, very heady, very much in your head. And so it could be like a heightened, I mean, for me at least, it's like always like a buzzy, heightened, active, very active period. We're going to take it through the zodiac, but like, for instance, for me, I know it's going to be screenwriting and psychic ability, because Mercury is a huge psychic planet in my chart, but it's also a huge writing planet in my chart as well. So I could look forward to some breakthroughs, revelations, insights, new starts, but also even hard work that you may have been doing over the past 3 to 4 months and having difficulty. And this could be when you get to take up all of that wisdom of experience and use it, like complete it, close it out, and use it to start the thing, and use it to launch something for, and use it to, you know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different like reset. Then on Thursday, a few days later, on August the 22nd, Mercury retrograde in Leo trines Chiron in Aries. It addresses July 18th's insecurity, or it brings it up again. Okay, it's going to be one or the other. Friday, the 23rd of August, Mercury stations direct at 21 degrees of Leo. This is cool. This is intense. This is, okay, so when Mercury stations direct, this is like, okay, this would be like when let's say I was trying to learn a new psychic ability, like something brand freaking new that I've never had any experience with before, never tried it, and I'm just like getting used to working it. That would be when I show people, when I publish it to the world. But all of these other aspects, that 𝚑𝚎𝚗 could be when I have like the big breakthrough. The squares to Uranus could be when I'm like trying things and having the little mini milestone breakthroughs. And then, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that Mercury stationing direct moment is intense. It's bold. It's bright, projective mental energy that seeks expression. The stations are the most important. So around, what day was that? Around the 23rd of August is a big day. And then around the 4th of August as well. So the 4th of August and then the 23rd of August are going to be big days for us. Those are going to be the days. Okay. Then on Saturday, the 7th of September, we have Mercury and Leo squaring Uranus and Taurus for the final time. But get this, at this point, Mercury is direct in Leo and Uranus is retrograde in the sign of Taurus. What does that mean? I believe it means that there's like a very sharp closure to this whole thing. There's like the last piece, like to integrate, to move on. And it's speaking to something that's like, this has already been a thing. So I don't feel like it's going to be as jostling. This is going to be more refreshing and comfortable, I feel like, because Uranus is retrograde. So Uranus isn't giving us any new shocks and thrills and things, so it's really more so kind of, I feel like, giving us just like a sharper sense of closure and putting something to bed. And the last elevation when Mercury is like bold and bright in the sign of like Leo. There's a whole thing about the degrees of Mercury being away from the sun and what that means, but we're going to get to that later. Monday, the 9th of September, Mercury will re-enter Virgo. Think back to the admin part or the organizational part, the structural part, the scheduling part, anything mercurial. And this could even harken back to around July the 25th when we were trying to like figure it out and we were trying to communicate. We were trying to like, okay, this big disruption just happened, but we're still going to move forward. This big disruption happened on the Capricorn full moon, July 21st, but we're still going to, okay, now we're going to pivot and we're still going to do this and we're still going to do that. And we're going to, this is like, we got it. We went back and fixed it. We went back and made it better. We went back and made it sparklier, or we went back and made the relationship better. We went back and asked for more money, or got compensated, or got a new job, or left a job and got a better job, or like whatever, did the shifting, whatever, met new people, cemented relationships, and dealt with baggage from the exes and the past. Like we did all the things already. And now we're able to move forward and organize it all exactly where it belongs, just like a Virgo would. And then on Wednesday, the 11th of September, happy birthday, Mom. I love you so much. How does it feel? I love you so much. You are the writer of writers. You are the reason why I am a writer, and I love you and I appreciate you. On your birthday, on my mother's birthday, everyone say happy birthday, Mom. On September the 11th, Mercury exits the shadow at 4 degrees of Virgo. That's like when we're really out of it now. We're really out of like having to go back. We're out of like, we're done like looking in the rear view mirror. And then we're really like, okay, we had to do a track change. We had to pivot. We had to get closure, or we had to reconnect with someone, like whatever it was. Now we did it. And now we're moving forward. Exits the shadow with like bells and whistles from about July 25th to August 15th with better art, better relationships, better money, better creativity, better creative faculties, better hair, whatever it happens to be. So, ooh, how exciting. I like this one. I'm excited. I always love Iranian energy. So I know that people are going to be like, the nervousness, like people's nerves are going to be super fried with those squares to Uranus. So that's why I shared the Stoic journaling step by step for you guys in the very beginning. That's what I use. You find something. It doesn't have to be that, but find something. Do something to help keep you focused on your values, on your character, on what really matters, and on positive, strong mental faculty. Okay, let's take it through the consciousness carousel that is the zodiac. Hello, my beautiful Aries, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, willkommen to your Mercury retrograde through the rest of August going into September. For you guys, this is happening over your Leo 5th house of true love, sex, dating, passion, play, romance, your small business, everything that is fun for you, as well as pets. And Virgo in your sixth house of daily routines, daily work, daily activities, rituals, routines, anything that you want to sacrifice for that's worth it to you, like having a cat and you don't want to do the litter box, but you do the litter box because you want the cat because it's so beautiful and gives you so much love and attention and affection. You love the cat and enjoy the cat in your fifth house, and you clean the litter box in your sixth house. So you've got both of those. It's going to be that sixth house and the fifth house. So for you guys, the squares, these are the areas of life you're trying to level up through integrating everything you've learned in the past 3 to 4 months. When it comes to your heart space, what gives you joy, what gives you pleasure, what makes you happy, how you nurture your inner child, how you love yourself, how you date people, the people that you're dating, and your coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, daily life rituals and routines, how you show up to the moment, or any kind of grunt work that you're picking up because you believe in it, because you want to do it. Now, the squares to Taurus, this is honestly, this is going to go a couple different ways for Aries. So it's either going to be wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Maybe you reconnect with a lover from the past. Maybe you reconnect with one of your children. The squares to Taurus could mean that there are value differences or financial differences that you've got to get through first in order to get that relationship back on track, either with someone you're dating, one of your children, your small business could be you have to do it differently, be a little bit because it may be financially expensive. You could be blowing too much money on someone you're dating. So it depends on where you are in life. This could be spending too much money on pets and people you're dating and kids and things. But it can also be the value upgrade that you've got to, look back at the dates that I've mentioned in the overview and apply it for you. When I say Leo at that part, it's your fifth house. When I say Virgo at that part, it's your sixth house. Then the trines to Chiron in your sign, this is going to bring up where you maybe had like a sexual um, insecurity. Like this could be like love making issues where you're going to be coming back to these things to heal it and move on. Or this can be bringing up your healing when it comes to like dating and people that you're dating and feeling, you're either going to be feeling like kind of rejected and having to go back and figure out why you are, maybe this is going to be bringing up for you in August why you seek out rejection experiences, or why maybe you alienate great people and only pick the people that are going to reject you, or like, you know what I'm saying? There could be something going on, or this could be a painful kind of long closure trying to happen with you and a child, or you and an ex or something. Now, the Kazemi is going to be the better point for the clarity. That's when you see what the problem really is. So if you have an issue with jealousy over August, or you have an issue with you you're dating too many people, spending all your money, or like, whatever it is, it's like you're going to pinpoint it and get the answer in the same moment. And like, okay, this has to change. This is what it is. 18th August. Then when you go back into direct motion on the 23rd of August, then you go back and re-enter Virgo on the 9th of September. As you're getting back into September, you will have either learned so much about how you've been doing a disservice to yourself and how you need to take better care of your inner child and take better care of your subliminal self. Because of course this can be like creative projects and children and things like that, but if you're feeling bad, then you're not loving yourself appropriately. And so for you guys, by the end of August coming into September, that's health. So when you pinpoint the issue, you're going to be able to implement the medicine or the treatment really greatly when Mercury goes into Virgo. So whether that's therapy, whether that's ashwagandha, whether that's changes in the workplace, whether that's something for your mental health. Okay. So remember, this is trying to level up your art and love and self-appreciation, your small business, people you're dating, how you're dating, and all these things. So love you, Aries. Thank you so much for taking up the Aries mantle of consciousness. I appreciate you. Hello, my lovely Tauruses, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, willkommen to your Mercury retrograde. For the Tauruses, I like this one. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. With when it's, I know it's more difficult to delineate for people when there's like the double signs, but I just really see it clearly for right now. I don't have no idea why for everybody. But for you guys, so overall, seeing everything all at once, you are like growing up, you're like maturing because for you guys, it's your fourth house of home and hearth and kith and kin. And it's like when you grow, it's like you're growing into and growing out of yourself at the same time. Once you do that, once you elevate your emotions, your home life, your living situation, your roommates, then you get to have more fun. Then you get to enjoy things. Then you get to kind of like relax with the kids or something like that. But first, this is almost like you could be like moving or renovating or doing construction in the house. Like there could just be stuff like physically about the home life that it's kind of just like for some reason it could be just like inhibiting or preventing the fun that's going to come in September. But August really is about I just see it like emotional maturity with the squares to Uranus in your sign. Like you're ready to break out. You're ready to break out of the emotional ruts that, I mean, that could be from this lifetime, from your childhood, but it can also be from past lifetimes. So I am of the firm belief that our childhoods are where it's like the paying on karmic debt from past lives, or enjoying karmic rewards from past lives if it was really amazing. But this is probably going to bring up some of that stuff, you know, some of that stuff to kind of like work through, um, especially because the trines to Chiron in your 12th house of secret sorrow, self undoing, behind the scenes, spirituality, but it doesn't have to be bad. Okay. It doesn't have to be like scary and bad and oh my God, the ancestors. Okay. This is like trying to elevate you emotionally. That's why I'm saying it's like maturing, like emotional maturation and like growing you up so that you can handle. It's weird having Virgo on your fifth house, but like so that you can handle the fun, so that you don't, you know, so it's trying to do good for you. It really, really is. For you, there could be issues with women in the family coming back up for healing. It doesn't have to be women in the family. It could be women issues or feminine issues just coming up for healing. Love August for that for you guys. But just don't take the squares to Uranus super personally because it's your fourth house and you're going to want to take it personally, but it's trying to elevate you and you're ready for it. You really are wanting to break out. So on an unconscious level or on a conscious level, if you can't see it now, you're going to feel like you're dragged. We're all going to feel, I should have said that in the overview. If we all don't go into this with this kind of a strong mentality, we're all going to be feeling like we're dragged and just doesn't feel good. So, okay. Then squares to Uranus, the trines to Chiron. Now, the Cazimi moment that happens on the 18th of Sunday, that is when you really get to pinpoint the problem or the issue. There's the answer. You know, what if use what you have learned for the past 3 to 4 months to start new in the home space, in the living situation with your roommates, with your family life. Maybe some of you are like head of household type, or you're kind of coming back into that again. Maybe there's um, someone that comes back to live with you. Maybe you go back to living with someone that you've lived with before. Maybe there's a little, I love this for Tauruses because there's like a little mini renaissance happening in your, um, the home, you know, the home and hearth and kith and kin. So this is great for reconnecting with family members, reconnecting with whatever grounds you emotionally, but elevating it. And this is flashy. So you guys want the gaudy light switch with the rhinestones. Okay. Like you guys need to have the homes that are going to be featured in Architectural Digest or something like you, or you know what I'm saying? Like you want like the glitz and the glam. So go full force into it. Absolutely. Go paint, do everything to your little heart's desire. And then when you go into Virgo season, you'll be fully ready to relax, enjoy, have fun. It'll be more, but it'll be because you were able to elevate your emotional maturity Because yes, it could happen like on the mundanity, on the mundane level with like physical things maybe happening and not happening and moving around and this and that. But whatever it happens to be, remember, as I take care of my mental health through stoicism, if it's out of my control, I don't have to care about it. I repeat, if it is outside of my control, I do not have to care about it. And I'm a Cancer rising, I care about everything. So it's freeing. It's freeing. It frees me. So look at it that way. I mean, you can be like, if not my monkeys, not my circus. Boom, and then let it go, and just look forward to September. But yeah, you're trying to elevate the emotional life where you feel better, you feel more confident, and it's nice and strong and sturdy, and it sticks. Trying to elevate the living situation, roommate situation, and then you're gonna be all set. But it has to be because there has to be like more value in the home. Maybe you're adding onto the house or something, or you're doing something to actually physically add value to your home. You know what I'm saying? So but that's what you want to do. You want to add a lot of value to yourself. Okay. The value's already there, but you want to be cognizant of it and you want to see it in yourself. And anything new and different happening, look at it positively. Okay. Love you, Tauruses. Have a great Mercury retrograde. And thank you so much for taking up the Taurus mantle of consciousness. I appreciate you. Hello, my lovely Gemini, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, willkommen to your Mercury retrograde. This is even more of a bigger deal for you because you are ruled by Mercury retrograde. I mean, not Mercury retrograde, you're ruled by Mercury. Ooh, I mean, maybe some of you are. Psychic slip. Okay, so for you guys, this is kind of interesting. You have to change your mind, change the way you think, change the way you speak. Or this is issues with siblings, neighbors, your neighborhood, second cousins. But there could be just, you want to be a little bit more careful. You really want to think before you speak, even more than everybody else, because you're ruled by Mercury. And so this is like, you're over this August, you're going to have to change how you do all this stuff. And for you, you're the only one that I'm going to say maybe tone it down a little bit, okay? Because Mercury in your third house of Leo, you have Leo in your third house. You want to be the best Leo communicator. You want to speak with like a childlike innocence and enthusiasm and fun. So much fun. Leos are like the funnest people like ever. So you could speak, you could be entertaining, you could write. This is wonderful for Geminis that are writers, performers or orators in any way, shape, or form. But you're going to have to be open minded because the squares. Okay, so once you rewire your brain, then you get to enjoy a better home life, a better family life, or a better living situation. So for some Geminis, it's going to be more mundane where you just move neighborhoods or something, or you're going to have to. You're the whole month. Am I going to move? Am I going to stay? Am I going to move? Am I going to stay? But then you figure out at the Kazemi on the 18th of August, oh, I am going to move. Okay, here we go. And then you're trying to, you know what I'm saying? So it could be something like that. But the squares to Uranus, and go back into the overview. And when you hear me say Uranus and Leo, you know where this is in your chart. The squares to Uranus in Taurus are in your 12th house of secrets and sorrows and self undoing. So part of you changing your mind is big. It's not just like, oh, I gotta figure out a new way to work today and over this month. It's like, no, you have to rewire your subconscious. That's the 12th house, is the subconscious. So you're going to be jolted out of your self limiting beliefs. Um, you can think back to around the 21st of July with the Capricorn full moon. That's when you got the first major like mental disruption of something that just like showed you like, what? Like there could have just been like a communication that just like, it could have been a text message, a phone call, an email, a social media post. Someone could have outed a secret of yours. You could have outed somebody's secret. Like there's something that was like, but this is you got two more squares to go. Two more. So at those times, expect more disruptive communication to kind of jostle you. Like something could bother you, like psychologically. Okay. And you're doing this work here. You're trying to rewire how you're thinking. And the squares to Uranus is just, it's we're not going to be able to tell you how it's going to go because it's very, very unpredictable, especially where you have Taurus in your chart. So all I can guarantee for you is that it is going to either disrupt or excite you from a place that you don't see clearly of yourself. So if it disrupts you, you're like, "Oh, I didn't know I was even jealous of this person. I had no idea I hated this person. I don't why do I feel this way about this hearing this news?" If it's like disruptive to the negative, it could be disruptive to the positive where it's really wonderful news and you're like, "Wow, I didn't even think that was possible," or "I didn't even think they would respond to me. I didn't even think I could do that. I didn't even think I can go here. I did." It's a very it's going to be like a one or the other. The trines to Chiron and Aries could be very healing for older sibling relationships. It could be very healing for how you are thinking about your future, how you're planning and thinking about goals and dreams and all of the things. But or it could be wounding. If you don't change your mind or your communications and you're like super inflexible in your thinking, like that's what I'm saying. Like this is like it doesn't guarantee that everyone's gonna have this great Mercury retrograde. Like some people are gonna get out of it what you're supposed to get out of it, and then some people are going to be dragged because they're just resisting and they're holding on and they're holding on and they're holding on and they're holding on, and throughout this week after week after week you're going to see that it's futile to keep holding on. And so it doesn't have to just be healing. It could just be that the wound comes up and you just pain. You're just in pain. And we are just in pain. So it could be a healing of a relationship with a friend, or it could be wounding and you're just feeling the pain. Something is reminding you of the pain of a relationship that went bad with a family friend, or a friend of yours, or an ally, or a group that you're no longer a part of, or some kind of social media thing that makes you feel weird, or maybe it's just pain with an older sibling, or pain with your neighbors, your neighborhood, pain with a cousin or a sibling or something like that. So it could just be painful. Like the trans encounter could just be painful. Um, but the Kazemi on the 18th of August is going to tell you a lot about like what to address in your mind. What you're going to pinpoint like exactly what it is, what you're thinking, how you're thinking, the idea itself. Maybe you like identify, like in Meisner we had something called like the spine phrase. It's just one phrase that is like the spine of this character. Like this is the one phrase that encapsulates like who this character is, and like just but it's a spine phrase. So you're gonna get like the spine phrase of your mind and your mentality, which could also be like really big information or a big announcement. This could be a big contract or a big news thing for you. So you have that to look forward to. Then as when you do all of this rewiring of the brain, rewiring of the mentality, this is even big for you, even bigger for you because this Mercury retrograde is guiding the Mars and Gemini in your sign. So not only do you have to think differently, but you have to act differently too. So it's a big, and then you have the Jupiter in your sign getting squared by Saturn in the 10th. I'm trying to keep it in a vacuum, but it's hard. So you really do have to change your thinking and change how you're acting. And if your professional reputation is going to change regardless if you use astrology or not. So you can use the astrology and get the best out of it and go with the changes, but it's gonna be a big thing. It's gonna be a big thing for you. Once you do all that though, as you go into September, like let's say you just do it all like how we guide you and that it's all going to be great. Once you rewire your brain and all the things, you act differently and you work in your career differently, blah, blah, blah. Then early September, you get to enjoy the respite of a beautiful, welcoming, loving home life. Like you get to just enjoy and relax at home. You get to enjoy family, you get to enjoy your home life. Maybe you are just moving over this time, and then you're settled into the new digs by the first end of the first week of September. So as an example, if it's not anything more mundane, then this is just you changing your mind and then getting better, feeling better emotionally, having more emotional security, feeling better about yourself, like in your life. Okay, gems. Have a great Mercury retrograde. Let me know if you need anything else. And thank you so much for taking up the Gemini mantle of consciousness. I appreciate you. Hello, my cans, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, willkommen to your Mercury retrograde, our Mercury retrograde. I am a can as well. So we have this happening in our second house and third house. So basically, it's a financial overhaul. It can also be like a self-esteem overhaul, depending on what resonates more. Maybe you're already financially comfortable, and this is a self-esteem thing. Maybe you need more. And here's the thing with Cancer is like your self-esteem is directly tied to the money that you're making. Like you've got to just fake it till you make it, and then the money follows. You cannot feel less than or small or crummy or anything, because you it just won't work because your money, your finances will reflect exactly how you're feeling about yourself. So it's huge. It's hugely, bigly important that you just push forward and always love yourself. And likewise, you do not want to be an overspender. You don't want to be overconfident because that is going to have its own problems. So, in the second house, Mercury going through this area is going to dig up all of these things. So, it could help reconnect us with our favorite foods. It's kind of something that I am weirdly am looking forward to because I make lists of things I like to eat and I save all my grocery lists. I have a drawer full of like recipes and all the Cancer things, but like when I'm hungry, I'm like, I don't know what to eat. I'm hungry, but there's nothing here. And I don't know what I like. And I'm like, I don't know what to eat. Like I need to like physically look at it in order to know that it's there. Like I'll forget that there's a favorite snack behind something in like the pantry. Like if I don't see it, it's not there and the food gets rotten. It's a whole big thing. So it could reconnect us with like foods and or things that used to make us feel really good about ourselves, but it can also probably be a little bit more financial. So the squares to Uranus and Taurus are difficult in this aspect. Like this is like an elevation that needs to happen when it comes to our money, our values, and our friends and our dreams and goals for our lives and our allies. So this is tricky. Think back to around the 21st of July, what was going on. That was the full moon in Capricorn, but that was when Mercury hit that square to Uranus for the first time. And we're going to get two more coming up. So this is like your values do not align with one of your friends' values. You're not going in the same direction. You're not, it's off, right? Or there's like a money issue between money and friends don't mix, maybe. Maybe a financial issue came up between a friend or a value issue that we have different values. We just see things differently. Something came up, it's going to be resolved, but it's going to be ongoing that you're going to have to. But the point is to elevate both areas that you want friends, different friends that maybe because you have Uranus in your friend house. So it's going to bring weird people. So if you don't like weird people, you're going to have an issue. And how long has it been since 2018? If you've been rejecting all the weird people, you may have just been rejecting your subconscious projection of what you actually want more of in your life to spice things up as a breath of fresh freaking air. So, if you've been fraternizing with the same old people, you ain't doing it right, but it's okay because you're getting another chance to do it right with the Mercury retrograde. So, but it can also bring friend breakups, and or breakups with the future, breakups with allies, people that supported your career. It doesn't even have to be like a friend or just like allies and stuff. So there's that. But the trines to Chiron in the 10th, this is ultimately either gonna you're gonna pick it. Don't blame anybody else, but it's you, Cancer. You're either gonna feel wounded publicly, and everyone's gonna see how wounded you feel and how sorry for yourself you are going through this self-esteem adjustment, or people are going to be seeing you healing self-esteem adjustments and healing your self and your brand, your image, your finances, your legacy, healing, or where you were not trusted with leadership or some career wound or parental issue. People are going to be seeing it. So how do you want? Okay, it doesn't look. Who wants to be a victim? A Cancer, okay? Like who wants to look like you're going through suffering for the sake of suffering? Like that's the place card for low self esteem. Okay. And to rewind the video to the Stoic journaling, you need something. You're so emotional. I'm so emotional. I'm talking to myself here. Whenever I'm talking to the camera. I'm always talking to myself. We're so emotional. It's beautiful because it's psychic ability. You're empathetic and you can develop psychic ability, but you need to have a strong mentality to handle to handle it and handle the rest of the world and handle the rest of life and everything. So once you are able to integrate the weird friends, pump up your self-esteem, make more money, heal the career, maybe be a healer for some of you. Maybe you're discovering that you're a healer and you're a healer and people are seeing you heal. Maybe a friend introduced you to Reiki and you do the things, you do all, it could be something like that. It's going to be different for everybody. But once you do all that, once you do all the things and make your metamorphosis adjustment, then the Virgo stuff, then you're going to like talk about it. You're going to talk about your experience. You're going to write a book about your self-esteem journey. You're going to write about, you know what I'm saying? You're going to communicate with others. You're going to wheel and deal, contracts, negotiations, siblings, the local neighborhood. You're going to be like, maybe you drop off little leaflets and zines. I was obsessed with magazines and making zines growing up. Do not know why. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense now, but like maybe you make, okay. So my next project, my next zine project, I'm going to make a zine. I'm going to make zines of my years. So I'm going to make a zine for like 2024, 2023, or just like, I'm going to change scrapbooking into making zines. Anyway, so maybe you're going to make some zines, but maybe you make zines and you drop them off at local coffee shops for other people to read. So that's what I was getting at with the third house, because it's the local community and the local neighborhood, but also siblings. So, this could be that you connect with like a friend, or you connect with like a new weird friend. And then they kind of like you you have to get used to the idea of them for some reason, and you are going through a change or something happening with your career and your finances and the people that support you. So you have new allies, or you have new different something, and then you'll be able to, I say, skip down the block hand in hand and go have coffee together and go do things together and just kind of settle in. But I really feel like August is going to be a big shift with cancers and groups of people, money, career, self-esteem, probably changes in the career and the money situation that's introducing you to different people, opening you up to more new weird people. Okay? And if there are any value differences between you and your friends, you have to let it go. I mean, let them go. You have to let that person, you have to let those people go. If they're not, if they're weird and different, but they don't have good values, that's not what we're talking about. Likewise, if your values are not great, then there could be a loss of friendship support, is what I would say. Like I would see people ready to call you out on stuff, you know? So I would be very like, I would steer clear of any kind of victim mentality in August because of that, the trines to Chiron and the 10th, like people would see it like really, really clearly. And that would just make you feel worse. And that's not the point. The point is to make you feel better, not to feel worse. So, is there anything else to say? You want to come out with this with better self-esteem, better art that you can sell, making sales, making, beautiful pieces of jewelry that you sell on Etsy. You want to come out of this with better relationships, better art, better financial position. So have a great Mercury retrograde, Cancers. Power to us all. Here we go, Leos. It is full on drama. Welcome to your August. Welcome to your Mercury retrograde. Okay, so for you guys, this is happening in your sign. It's mostly happening in your sign. And this is kind of more of a finishing up for you guys because we had the Venus retrograde last year in the sign of Leo. So yes, it's like wrapping things up in this area for a lot of us, but like I'm talking about it with you because it is like so bigly important for you. So what was going on last summer that you are cleaning up and either like cementing in and baking into your life and about yourself, like your character, like who you are, and what are you getting closure on that is being phased out of your character that you're done with once and for all. Because this Mercury retrograde is going to show you. It's going to show you if you've been long overdue for some character work, this Mercury retrograde is going to give you the last big experiences that you need to like get rid of that. Okay, so it's happening in your sign, so it's your character. But then once you finish this month long like super emphasis on your character um corrections or adjustments or maturation, then Mercury's going to go into Virgo and you'll be able to focus more on your money and organizing your financial situation. Okay, so over this month of August, you're going to have these Mercury squares to Uranus and Taurus in the 10th house of career and legacy and stability, but also your spouse's marriages, and your parents as well. So the first disruption with these people or in your reputation or something happened around the 20 like the 21st around the 21st of July with the Capricorn full moon, and you've got two more shocks coming in these areas. So this could be, honestly, this is really kind of out of your control. I know Mercury's in your sign. Like some of you could definitely be making the changes to your own like body. I could see maybe an overhaul, like returning to a haircut that worked for you, or returning to, maybe you are starting to wear some clothes that you used to wear that you loved, but then got tired of. And then, like, now you love them all again. It could be a renaissance for you personally, or it could be that you're taking another look at some things that you're ready to mature and grow out of because of these squares to the parental house. So you have to elevate yourself. You have to grow up. You have to be better. You have to stand up and reach the standard that your career is asking of you, or your spouse is asking of you, or your parent is asking of you. Those needs are going to be very like changeable and like lightning bolts, and you're going to be like struck by the lightning bolts. So there could be changes with your career, there could be changes with your marital status, there could be changes to your reputation. So you really want to be the most careful about acting erratically, because when you do that, it's more visible than it is for anybody else. You acting erratically is going to show you as unstable to the VIPs. It's going to show you as inconsistent to your parents. It's going to show you as flaky to your spouse. Like your spouse could be like, "You're not really here. You don't really love me. You're not really into this. You're not really like, I don't believe you." Like they could just, there could be like some distrust there or something. But if you're like using these energies, if you're really like locked in, then you're going to come into this with an open heart and an open mind, and you're going to be ready for the reconstruction. I would look at this as a reconstruction of yourself to challenge yourself to be better, to have more integrity, to think differently, to think clearer. Because if you're going into this consciously, then you want to bust out. You're ready for a different spouse. You're ready for a different career. You're ready for a different legacy. You're ready to individuate from your parents. You're ready to, like, you know what I'm saying? You might be ready for changes. You might be like, no, I need a breath of fresh freaking air. So that could be kind of exciting. On the bright side, it could be very like revitalizing, like, exciting. You could be changing your brand, changing your, your the shingle and all the things. The trines to Chiron in the ninth house could be wounding with a foreigner. There could be pain. There could be issues. There could be like the thing you don't want to talk about with them that just comes up, or an issue with them that just comes up this entire summer. That's really painful and wounding. Or it could be healing with a teacher, a mentor, a guide, anyone that you learn from, or a foreigner. It really, really depends, because this is also your ninth house of like expansion of the mind. So a foreigner expands your mind, sharing their culture with you. A teacher expands your mind by sharing their knowledge with you. Traveling expands your mind by everything you see, going and getting internalizing it. So there's going to be, either it's just going to be pain, like where your beliefs are showing you that they're the wrong thing to believe, like, oh, I shouldn't have believed this, or I shouldn't have this is not a good worldview for me to have, because it's causing me detriment. It's causing me, there's something there's some pain here. You know, there it could be this the trines to Chiron can be showing you where something is not working because the wound and the pain, it's just too great. It's just too deep. It's just not part of your evolution. It's not part of your, ascension, or you sold yourself short and you settled for something. And this month is showing you that you could have reached for the stars, but you didn't believe in yourself enough and you settled for less. And you're like, oh my God, I want to break out of this. I take it back. I don't want this career. I want to chase my dreams as a whatever, over the month of August. But the Kazemi is going to show you like the pinpoint problem, but also the answer to this and the solution to it. So that's going to be the 18th of August on Sunday. And that Kazemi is going to be in your sign. So it is going to be like, I love this for you guys because I feel like this is going to be where, like, if I were a Leo, I would feel like this is the moment where I'm like, I'm going to follow my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this is going to be like that moment where it's like, where you take everything in. And for you, it could be any area of life. Like the disruptions and stuff is like, we talked about that already, but like, it's like, what's important to you? Because that's what could be changing and accommodating you, who you are. You know what I'm saying? So that Kazemi is the 18th, and it's going to show you, and you want to use what you've learned over the last 3 to 4 months to start new. And you're like, okay, I'm right. I got it. I got it now. Then when you go into September, it's going to be better for you financially. It's going to be better for your self-esteem. You're going to be more like the focus. It's like you said, you change the direction, you change what you want in your life, like in August. And then you get to just like focus on the money and focus on that, like in as you go into the beginning of September. But when you do, by the time you go into September, you should feel better about yourself because you're thinking about yourself differently and you're thinking about your life differently. And hopefully you're thinking about yourself with more esteem, with more value. Like, did you reach for the stars or not? Like, that's what I'll say. I love you, Leos. Thank you so much for taking up the Leo mantle of consciousness, and have a great retrograde. I appreciate you. Hello, my lovely Virgo, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, willkommen to your Mercury retrograde. It's even more important for you because you are ruled by Mercury. Where shall we begin? So for you guys, this is happening over your 12th house of Leo, secret, sorrow, self-undoing. And then by the end in September in your season, it'll be in your sign. In the 12th house, like, yes, it's like a subconscious house. It's everything I already said it is, but it's just a behind the scenes house. So you can think of anything that takes place behind the scenes, and that includes professions and professions that take place behind the scenes. So for instance, yes, my keywords that I use to describe the 12th house: secrets, sorrows, self-undoing. It's so dramatic, but it's just behind the scenes. It's just the subconscious. So for instance, my two professions, I'm a psychic, professional psychic, and I'm also professional writer in my head. I'm kidding. But like, this is where it would show up in astrology because no one sees the writer. They see the actors, but they don't see the writer. So a writer is a 12th house profession. Psychics, people do not invite the psychic to the wedding. Okay. It just doesn't happen. I don't take offense. It's okay. But people don't, I have a pretty decent clientele where it's like there's a lot of people that are not outed as like spiritual people, and people that are full blown woo woo, like in the with the tie dye and the chakra beads and the thing, the incense, all the things. So it's like, um, but it's a behind this. I'm a person. I'm consigliere that's behind the scenes for somebody else. I'm the secret weapon for somebody else. So psychic, professional psychic is a 12th house profession. So I don't want you to be afraid of this house. Okay. I don't want you to be afraid of this energy. It's just behind, just think behind the scenes. So Leo's your 12th house. In your mind, you're super dramatic. In your mind, you are like the star of the show. In your mind, everything is about you. In your mind, the Virgo, I would say, is the one that has the spotlight cognitive bias. The spotlight cognitive bias is the bias that you think people. It's like you think people are over paying attention to you. Like you're hyper aware of your little faux pas, and you feel like maybe self conscious about it because you're a Virgo and you overthink everything. but no one's thinking about it. No one cares that much. They're thinking about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like Leo is the entertainer. It's dramatic. It's big and bold and flashy, but it's in a behind the scenes house. So how are we gonna do this and reconcile the Virgo that needs to feel loved and seen and appreciated when all of the flashiness is behind the scenes? That's not natural for you. That's why I'm saying it's in your head. In your head, it's like that's how you're alive in your mind, but you don't show that to people. It's behind the scenes. It's not like you feel comfortable going out being all like flashy and low cut this and like booty shaking and like all this stuff and doing the my teacher, my screenwriting teacher, he says shuffle dances on TikTok. You're not going out there doing your little shuffle dances on TikTok, but you are in your mind. You are in your mind. In your mind, you're like Tom Cruise and the dancing and all of the dance pool, and you're like that, like in your head. You're the superstar. So okay. So over this time, so your retrograde is going to be going through your subconscious mind. Okay. You are doing something behind the scenes. It's one or the other, maybe both. You're either going to be thinking and going over maybe some painful things, maybe some wounding, maybe some karmic debts, or maybe some baggage, because that's another thing about the 12th house. It's the subconscious. That's where all of the content is that we don't have, that we're not thinking. When we choose our thoughts, that's the conscious mind. When we receive thoughts, when the thoughts just drop into our heads, that's the subconscious. So I'm not saying Virgos are thinking they're better than everybody. No, they're not choosing those thoughts at all. They're going to be out. Think about both of my parents are Virgos, by the way. You could be just out at a grocery store, standing in line, and have a judgmental thought about somebody standing in line. Maybe they take out their wallet and you like criticize their wallet or something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's more like that. It's more like that. And I'm like, oh my God, like both my parents. I'm like, oh my. Anyway, it's embarrassing. If you're if you Virgo, if you have children, if you're watching this, you have children, please don't embarrass your kids. Please. No, please. Okay. So, but then by the beginning of September, you're going to feel like $1,000,000. Okay. You're going to be feeling like, thank you very much. You're going to be feeling hot to trot. Okay. So, what else is going on? You have the squares to Uranus to get through. So, you have look back to July the 21st. That's when we had the Capricorn full moon, and you had the first Mercury square to Uranus and Taurus in your ninth house of the expansion of the mind. So, you expand your mind through meeting foreigners, through travel, learning about other cultures, through taking classes, learning from teachers, learning from gurus, learning from people that know things, or you are the guru, you are the guide, you are the mentor, you are the one with the information and the wisdom to share with others. So that's why this is like a marketing house, or like a publication house where your words and your wisdom can reach like the masses. And so there was something but it's also the belief system. It's also morals and ethics. Okay. So the 21st of July, that first square, there was some kind of disruption. That was the first one. There's two more. At the time I'm recording this, there's two more disruptions, but the first one, that was like something you didn't see coming. That was definitely something you did not see coming. And it could have disturbed you psychologically, mentally. There could have been someone behind the scenes that did something or said something, or maybe, yeah, something like that was going on, and it shocked you, and it changed your views on things, or your view on the situation, or on the world, maybe, or even on like life philosophies and stuff like that. And you got two more squares to go through. But what this is trying to do, this whole month of August, is trying to elevate that subconscious of yours. It's trying to infuse you with more confidence that you have such a strong spirituality that nothing can rock you or shake you. Now, if there is something bothering you psychologically, that's probably a moral issue. Some Virgos, if you're like on the right side of morals and ethics, then this really is just going to be about feeling better about yourself and just valuing yourself more. in this August. But if you have anything you feel guilty about, this is probably going to exacerbate that. So that's what, so look, how did you feel? What was going on around that time? This is also going to be healing up something from last summer that didn't get to be fully actualized or expressed with the Venus retrograde through your 12th house. So this is going to bring you closure to something, or it's going to like cement something into your subconscious that places you with a higher value and relieves a mental, psychological, or spiritual burden. This could be that you're either weighted down by karmic debt this August, because the 12th house is also karmic everything. It's karma, it's past life stuff, it's everything. Everything karmic and past lifey and all spiritual stuff. So, and past life associations, past life contacts. So this could be a summer or the August where you're feeling maybe a little bit weird or guilty about stuff, and it, something go back to that first disruption, that first square, the 21st of July. There was some kind of aberration. There was something that shocked you, or you were the one. If you were the one to shock people, it's because you were speaking from your subconscious mind, and maybe it doesn't translate because it's from your sub. That's just like when people say things like off the cuff, and they have, and we're not thinking, because we all do at times, but like, you know what I'm saying? There's something there. Now, the trines to Chiron in Aries in your eighth house, again, if you are doing this with full, like integrity and everything, then this is just going to bring up a lot of healing of some kind of wound where there was like a lack of spiritual confidence, or a lack of parental confidence of your bond with your children, or a lack of any kind of confidence that has to do with bonding with another person, a spouse, a child. If you have any kind of like, or it's even your relationship to anything in life, your relation, this is healing your relationship to food, healing your relationship to relationships, healing your relationship to your friends, your children, your spouses, your coworkers, your employees, your collaborators, whatever it happens to be. But it's like where you bond with people. So this is going to like be either kind of wounding and wounded, where you're feeling like you're not getting the connection that you want. You're not um like you're trying to make to connect, but it's not happening, or you're being reminded of maybe you're doing experiences in August where you just get rejected, and it's like hitting that pain point again and again, and it's a subconscious, you're in a subconscious rut, you're, or on a rumination, you're ruminating. Or if depending on how this go, how you've been working it, this could be really healing, and you're bonding with other people, you're bonding with somebody else, and it's very healing for your spirituality, where you feel like all is right with the world, like spiritually. There's this Victorian saying, "It is well with my soul." I feel like Virgos can feel like that in August, like, "Ah, all is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. This sits well with me. I have a relief moment for this." So that's cool. We love that. Then the Kazemi happens on the 18th of August. And that is when you really, this is interesting for you, because this is like a psychic breakthrough, or a subconscious breakthrough, or you might be doing something behind the scenes, like taking a big action, having a revelation, saying something, or having a creative breakthrough if you're working on anything creative behind the scenes. But just be careful, because this can also be, and you want to think back to around the 21st, this could be like a hidden enemy, or someone acting against you from behind the scenes, or like something you don't see coming, but you'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see it on the 18th of August. So if you have like a feeling, Virgo, if that something is off, or that's, if you have any kind of those little, if your spidey senses are all twitching, the 18th is when you're going to see it. The subconscious, or what was hidden from you or evading you or elusive, whether it's the answer to a creative problem, or wondering who's been taking all of your coffee creamer in the office commissary, like whatever it is, it becomes clear to you. You can see it. It's because you're gonna get the insight into it. So So there's that, but also just be careful that if anyone's acting against you or anything like that, that could also be when you know who it is. But you also, this entire month, and the Leo energy is benefactors from behind the scenes or spiritual, I'm going to say soulmate, but I don't mean romantic. I never mean romantic when I say soulmate. A soulmate, it's like we've had multiple incarnations with people, like over and over again. And you see some of that in the synastry and the astrology. So, for instance, like I am my mother's child in this lifetime, but I know that I was her husband in a past lifetime. I just know this. I know this for 100, and so we're healing this, we're healing lots of different issues relationally, but we've had multiple life my mother and I've had multiple lifetimes together where we've been different people to each other. So there was another lifetime where I was her parent. And then there was another lifetime when we were siblings. So we've been doing this damn dance, right? So, so soul mates and soul people, that's the 12th house. So for you guys, there could be someone helping you behind the scenes. Maybe you only have one phone call with them, or maybe you just, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're in like a whole big relationship with them, but they come through to help you. They at a at the right when you need it, or they come through and say what you need to hear at the right moment you need to hear it. Like, or they come save you from something, or get something for you, or help you behind the scenes, or pull strings, or something like that. 18th of August could be for some Virgos out there. So that's another thing. Like the writer is the writer behind the scenes. The actor says the lines. We're not thinking about it when we're watching it, but the writer did all that work. You know, me being the psychic support to someone, they're out there living their life with that information. No one's thinking about me. They're not thinking about it. I'm not even part of it. But all of my work and all of my magic and all of my stuff is all in there and being projected and being used and stuff. So someone could be like a benefactor or something, or, and you'll see it. You might know it that there might be someone stepping forward, or there might be, it might be more clear to you if that's the case for some of you out there around the 18th of August. But like I said, at the very least, expect some big like insight, like a personal revelation that you're going to understand like about yourself. You're going to reorganize this spirituality and this faith and this inner belief. It's really connected to your morals and your ethics, or you as a teacher, or you as a student. And it has to do with you healing the bond. So I really could see this as like a Virgo that tried to like go to church and then hated it, or they tried to learn spirituality or learn about chakras or learn about Reiki or learn about anything spiritual. And they had a teacher that was a terrible, terrible teacher. And this is like, any kind of spiritual belief system or morals or ethics or anything like that, or even publications or marketing or anything that you're doing in behind the scenes to publicize later is going to be healed if that applies for you, or if that works for your life in the month of August. So this would be like, okay, you meet a spiritual teacher or a guru that is the real deal and can help you, and it's healing the bond, the teacher student bond. Or maybe you had a teacher like I did. I had a spiritual teacher that was a great spiritual teacher, but they turned they turned on me. And that was painful. That was terrible. And so, that was a wound. That was really sad. Um, maybe you had so this would be like, okay, you get a teacher that doesn't wound you, or maybe you have a wound with you as a teacher. Maybe you were trying to like teach and share knowledge and wisdom, and this is going to be healing a bond where maybe you had like some kind of student that turned on you or something, maybe something like that happened, or you, but whatever this happens to be, it's either going to be having to do with people in these roles, or it's going to be your spirituality, your ethics, your morals. or you're writing the publications and all these things to heal it up or just like deepen the wound and deepen like the pain. So this is a lot of psychological. You really want to watch that, the Stoic Journaling, because this would be so great for you guys. You guys are also having the Mars in Gemini in the 10th house. So everything that you're rethinking, going through and rewiring yourself spiritually behind the scenes and all, or whatever you're doing behind the scenes, is because is pointing how you're acting different and taking different actions as a parent in your career and a new kind of legacy for yourself, like, or adding to a legacy. If you're adding to a legacy, this is like Super Bowl. Like you're trying to do something like real. You're really like, but it's because of your partners and it's because of the bonds and it's because of you elevating your spiritual faith, elevating what you're able to do behind the scenes, elevating the support you get from behind the scenes, and elevating your worldview. If you can do that, you're going to be gravy. Then you can have like a really sparkly, shiny new like persona and career and legacy to kind of show for it, like as we get into like the fall. Because once you get into the beginning of September and Mercury goes into Virgo, then you're like back at it. And you're back in the driver's seat. Like you're not doing the thing that's behind the scenes anymore. You're sharing it and you're telling everybody about it and you're talking about it and it's got you all over it. Like it's very you and it's, you know what I'm saying? So and then you'll be trining Uranus in Taurus. And this is something that's like, okay, you went back and you went through all of the things and all the psychological stuff and this spiritual baggage or whatever, and now you feel good about your beliefs and you feel empowered with expanding your mind and you feel like you can grow easier and it's easier for you to, like, you have like a nonchalance accepting new ideas and ideologies and learning from a teacher or teaching someone else. There's like it's like streamlined or smoother, or it's able to, once you had to go redo something, now you can move forward on like what the thing is going to be, and you're like on fire. Love it. Okay, guys. And by the end of this, you get a much more strengthened spirituality and faith. That's what I'm hoping for you guys. Love you, Virgos. Have a great Mercury retrograde. And thank you so much for taking up the Virgo mantle of consciousness. I appreciate you. And now we are in Libra land. Welcome, Libs, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, Willkommen. Okay, to your Mercury retrograde. This is happening in your 11th house predominantly. It's spending most of the time in your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, groups you belong to, your social media, all of the things. And then it's going to be a little bit in Virgo where you get to move forward in your 12th house of secret sorrows and self undoing. So it's going to be friends. Part of this is going to be the goals and the dreams that you have for yourself and for your life, but there's no way around it with the South Node being in your sign that this ain't going to be about your friendships. So let's talk. You've got the squares to Uranus and Taurus in your 8th house of what you share with other people. It's sexuality, it's bonds, it's boundaries. And this is going to be hard. It just is. This you guys know me. I try to put the happy spin on like every single little thing, even if it's. But this is like there's no way around it. Okay, so look back to the 21st of July. You had the Capricorn full moon, and that was the first disruption. That was the first disruption where your friend or someone in the friend group or even something on social media made you, there was like a shocking feeling. You felt like immediately angry, hurt, jealous, bitter, sexually aroused unexpectedly. Like there was something that was kind of like a big, what is that? And for some of you, it could even be older siblings. It doesn't have to be friends, groups, or associations or your goals. If it's people, more people minded, it could be older siblings or allies and people that support your career. And so you have two more disruptions coming. This is really ultimately over August trying to elevate your friends, your goals, your relationship with your friends, your relationship to your goals, your social media, your relationship to social media. Now, having Leo on the 11th house, your friends are the stars of the show. They are the Beyonce. And um your goals could also be very flamboyant or kind of not selfish, but just self-focused. That's not negative. Or like I said, not gaudy, but just glitzy. That's what I'm trying to say, glitzy. So you're you're I see this for Libras trying to pick friends better. And if the friends are like the lower Leo, where they're really into themselves and they're selfish and they're, um, whatever. Or if you are kind of showing up either in your friendships or in your with your allies or on your social media that is like, what's that word? Hold on. I can't for the life of me think of the word, but it's where you pick your friends based off of their social status. And if you're there could be literal drama with your friend groups in August. And what the squares to Uranus are trying to like do for you is to elevate how you share either on social media or with your friends or with these allies, or how you are transforming your future, how you are transforming your goals for the future, maybe because of or having to do with some of these friends, groups, and associations and allies. With the trines to Chiron in your seventh house, Libra, this is going to go one way or the other for all of us. And for you, you can think back to last summer. There, the Venus retrograde, it was probably difficult for friends last summer. This is either going to give you closure and close out. And these trines to Chiron are go back to the overview and whenever and get those dates. Those trines to Chiron are either going to be very healing, where you're like, I found my people, I found my tribe, or a friend becomes something more, and you're meeting someone that way, and it's very like you may be feeling like awkward and vulnerable, but they love you and they take you in, and it's healing and supportive. Or or it's gonna go the opposite way, and instead of like the healing, you're gonna feel a pain, you're gonna feel a relationship wound of where there's the disconnect in values, the disconnect in goals, the disconnect in dreams, the disconnect in personality, the disconnect, and the squares to Uranus are separating you from people or separating you from goals. And so like that wound could feel like it could just be happening like over the month of August. But you really want to take a look at your own goals, you want to take a look at your own dreams, you want to take a look at your own values, and you want to take a look at your existing allies and how you show up to these relationships. Because you have the South Node in your sign. So for the year and a half from April of last year and coming through August, like it's still in effect, the South Node is in Libra, which means that we are flushing out superficiality in relationships. We are flushing out all the negative traits of the Libra sign. And we do it for every zodiac sign every year and a half. So don't take it personally. So we're taking out, um, there's that word I'm looking for that I can't find again, but we're taking out socializing for status and socialize having friends for like to use them like for what they can do for you. We're taking out having relationships that are lacking substance, and we're taking out the need of a relationship. This is all about North Node in Aries. It's about I can do it on my own. And the fun thing with you, with the North Node in your seventh house and with the trines to Chiron, if you have like integrity and you have your own like, your own like character, you can still do this North Node in Aries. Like I can do it by myself, I can do it on my own, but it's going to put you in contact with other individuals and other friends that have the same values and goals and dreams and wishes, and they're doing it on their own too, and you can do it together side by side. That's more what it's about. So for you, this is adjusting your friend groups, and it's going to be rocky because there's just no way that the square to your the squares yours in the eighth house, there's just no way that it's not going to be not rocky. So expect more disruptions, and anything that really bothers you, just like understand that it's trying to break you out of ruts and take you out of negativity, take you out of like negative attachments, and bring you into enjoying friends that are healing for you, and enjoy having goals and dreams for yourself that are like really reaching for the stars. Okay. Then the Kazemi on the 18th of August, that's when you're really going to get the answer of like, you're going to get the answer because you're going to really identify the problem. That Kazemi on the 18th, like that's the issue, with the friends and the friend group and everything. Maybe there's like with the Leo energy, there could be pe- lots of drama. I mean, God, it could be any kind of drama, but specifically drama with attention and all the Leo things. Drama with, you're not giving me enough attention, or you're giving them more attention than you're giving me, or like, I don't know, stuff like that. So there could just be any manner of drama coming up for you over August, but the Kazemi is going to tell you maybe there's like specific people that are like the source of like all the drama, or maybe there's like something happening in the friend group that you just don't know about, and it's like the tension, you see the tension, you see everything, but you don't know what it is, or like why are they fighting, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the where, oh, that's what it is. Got it. Okay, now I know how I need to change, I know what I need to do, I know how I need to like, connect with this person, and whatever. So if you can go with that and you can make all of those changes by the beginning of September, when Mercury dips and disappears into your 12th house of secrets, sorrows, self undoing, August, you're setting yourself up for a wonderful spa like experience where you get to just relax with your friends, and you get with your new friend group, and you just get like a mental relief. Or you're going to be spinning and ruminating on stressing out about like what happened with the friend, what happened with the goal, what happened with the sibling, what happened with the dream, what happened with my shared resources. Because that's what Mercury Uranus is disrupting, is the bond you have with someone else or with other people, or the resources that you have access to. So they're not sharing their mind anymore, they're not sharing their money anymore, they're not sharing their time anymore, they're not sharing their, or you're breaking in and there's new people coming in, and they're sharing with you, and you're like, oh my god, how cool. And so it could be that Libras have the um the friends that you guys are very equal, and it's reciprocal, it's equal give and take by the end of this. Or you you may have seen a lot of disruptions in the friend group. Maybe things blow up in August. Maybe there's crises and catastrophes, and maybe there's social media drama and people, whatever. And then you might want to just disappear. You might want to get offline. You might need a social media break. You might need therapy. You might need more sleep. You might need to step away from everything. You might need to, I don't know, change some settings on your phone to just get away from it all. Like you could feel like you need to recuperate from everything in August, instead of feeling relieved about all the changes you made in August. It's going to be one or the other. So, anything else I have to say? That looks like that's it. Um, I would just say, just always be careful because you have Virgo on the 12th house, Libra. So, in your mind, you definitely think a lot. Like you think, and you're critical, especially because you're Libra. You can compare so much. That's another thing we're phasing out for the year and a half, is comparing people to other people. So you're gonna have a lot to think about. If coming into September, but hopefully this just gets rid of the people that are not supposed to be in your winner's circle, and keep the people that really deserved and earned their spot because of their strong heart, their bravery, their loyalty with that Leo 11th house. That's really what you're going to be looking for. Look, and you be the friend too. You got to be the loyal, you got to be upright. You cannot be using people or be superficial or try to pretend the whatever, lie, whatever, all the things, all the basic things. So all right, my Libs, Libra land. I'm saying bye to Libra land. Take care. Have a great Mercury retrograde. Thank you so much for taking up the Libra mantle of consciousness. And I'll see you in the next one. Hello, my lovely Scorpio, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs to your Mercury retrograde. I'm eating chocolate. Okay, so for you guys, this is another one that for one of you guys, it's very, very public. Be very careful. This is very, very public. Okay. Mercury is retrograding through a 10th house of public life and public status. And you have Leo up there. It's extremely dramatic. Um, you have Leo up there. It's extremely dramatic. So this is where the Mercury is going to do the most rewriting, revamping, reorganizing, rethinking, and redesigning. That's going to be most of August for you. So there's going to be a need for you to phase out anything that is not really going to be part of your legacy. Other people are a huge part of this, kind of steering the changes. Mercury made their first disruption with Uranus on the 21st of July. That was a Capricorn full moon. Check to see what was going on with your relationships with other people, your relationship to like online activity, like social media, maybe your clients if you have a client-based business, traveling, maybe, but also your relationships with your parents or VIPs or your spouse, yeah, or yourself as a parent. So this is you're going to have two more disruptions. It's shaking you and it's causing you to kind of doubt yourself in your career, and also you're going to be feeling as early as the 16th of July when Mercury entered shadow, you could have been thinking rethinking things. You could have been thinking like, "Oh, maybe I should do a different career. Maybe I should marry somebody else. Maybe I should like do some, maybe I need to change my legacy. Maybe I need to change my business. Maybe I need to spice things up in my marriage. Maybe I need to parent differently. And maybe I need to like as early as the 16th of July is when it started, but the 21st is when you got the wake up call, kind of like, okay, this person or this client or this this social media thing or this online thing is showing how I need to elevate the career, elevate, show up in a bigger, brighter way. Leonine, let your little freak flag fly. Oh, that's Aquarius. Let your completely conventionally beautiful flag fly. And then the trines to Chiron in your sixth house telling me that it's going to be one or two things. There's either going to be great healing of your daily life, maybe healing relationships with coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, or anybody that you employ, nail tech, lawnmowers, whomever. It's very healing, but it's still going to come up like issues, like the wounds are going to kind of come up that are kind of familiar. So think back to last summer when Venus was retrograding in Leo in the 10th house. This could be like where it's a wound of like, oh, well, I didn't take care of myself last summer, so I couldn't take care of the career. Or I didn't put in the work in the marriage. And so I didn't show up as like I really should have in the marriage. So this could be like something that supports the career, but only when you address a deep insecurity or wound in the processes or the personnel or the staff or the mentality, the mental health, or your approach to your daily life or your approach and how you see sacrifices to change your legacy and add more to it. So it could be healing and it could feel great. It could address the wound but still feel great and still be very helpful, or it could just be painful. And it won't it'll be painful and it doesn't go anywhere instead of pain that turns into healing. And if it's pain just for pain, it's just going to be more connection that's showing you how you need to change things in how you are leading, how you are like it could show your pain points like I'm not a good leader because my staff quit. Oh, I'm not a good boss because my staff they're looking and they're trying to organize. They're trying to form a labor union, or if you're like a store manager for like a retail store, something like that. Like it could be something like that where it's like, oh, this wound hurts again. This was last summer. They didn't like this. It depends if you're like a business owner or not. But like if it's your spouse, maybe last summer there were issues that you didn't want to take care of, you didn't want to think about or talk about or address, and it's coming back up again. You can get closure around it now, or it's just going to keep hurting. And but you have the opportunity, Scorps, to really like dig deep and do some like deep psychic surgery. This is about letting go of some kind of heavy burden or grudge or something, or like insecurity, or something like that. Something like that. Okay. So the people, I would say the people, the weirder they are, the better, are going to help you. So I'm telling you, with Uranus since 2018 in your seventh house, you're traveling, you're moving around, you're meeting weird people, you're going to weird, new, different places. And it could be affecting your career or your marriage in August. And you get to decide how you want to do that. Maybe you pack up your bags, go to LA, strike out, try to do something out there. Maybe you get married and the both of you go do something. I mean, I would not recommend getting married on a Mercury retrograde. Just saying that. But it's like that other person is helping you. So it's like your clients are helping you. Maybe they're or okay, so it's either like your staff is helping you make a better business through telling you what's not working. Your spouse is helping you become better in the marriage by telling you and showing you the pain points and what's not working. There's something about other people conveying this to you and being very shocking and being unexpected that's helping you see what you need to change about your legacy, your career, your marriage, or you as a boss, or you as a parent. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling really good about. The 𝚑𝚎𝚗 on the 18th of August is showing you like pinpoint exactly. I would be careful because there's something maybe happening in the career space or with your spouse or with a parent or something that's like, it's showing you what you need to, it's showing you the answer, but only because it's like pinpointing the problem. And that's where you want to take everything you've learned in the career about the career, legacy, parents, you as a parent, marriage, the last 3 to 4 months, take everything you've learned and then integrate it into a new plan forward. So that's probably like a big reveal. Your spouse tells you something, your boss tells you something, you tell your staff something, you make an announcement. You're the one to make some big like announcement to the world about something. So actually, I like this for Scorpios. Like changing, it's something about partnering with another person could change how people see you, like change your status and your legacy. Ooh. And then so that Mercury 𝚑𝚗𝚗 could be like you debut a new, maybe you do get married, maybe you don't know anything about Mercury retrograde, and those people, they get married, they debut a new spouse or something, and it changes how the world sees them. Or getting married, getting divorced, like that, that those kind of status changes. Or maybe you have a big career and the news of you collaborating with someone is going to rock your little industry or something. It could be that would be cool, and that would help elevate your career. That person is a weird, different, unusual person helping to elevate and change how people see you. How cool. So, I mean, it's Leo. So, this is like the people that are going to help change your career and your image and your reputation for the positive are going to be, you want them to be like morally upright. They have to be on the up and up. And there is something glitzy or glammy about them, or because it's Leo, like they have to fit in that aesthetic. Maybe not that aesthetic because it's Uranus and Taurus. Maybe they don't fit the aesthetic at all, but they fit something to like another jewel in the crown, you know? So I kind of like that, but it's going to be through the other people that are helping you to do that. If you can pull this off, Scorpio, without getting too offended, then you're going to look forward to like a wonderful, like when Mercury enters into Virgo in your 11th house in the beginning of September, then you're going to be able to like just enjoy promotion, enjoy promoting, enjoy allies, enjoy launching marketing campaigns, enjoying the influx of new allyships and being part of new communities, being part of new unions and groups of people and networking and socialize. It's a busy, 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 busy social calendar for your fall. So, all right, Scorps, I love you guys immensely. Thank you so much for taking up the Scorpio area of consciousness. Have a great Mercury retrograde. I appreciate you. Hello, my lovely Sagittarius, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome to come to your Mercury retrograde. This is kind of, I think I like this a lot for you guys. So Mercury is going to be retrograding through Leo in your ninth house of broadening and expanding the mind. And how do we do that? We do that through foreigners. They share their culture and their experiences through travel. We get our first, person perspective on different cultures and experiences. We do that through higher education. We go to university, we go to colleges, and through teachers and mentors and guides who share their wisdom with us. And in this way, as we expand our minds, we formulate our morals and our ethics and how we view life and how we process our baggage. And how we process our baggage determines how we view our life and life for other people as well, like worldview. So you're rethinking all of that. You're going back. You're returning to the scene of the crime. There's something you missed. There's holes, there's gaps in your belief systems and your belief structures, and maybe even bringing back people that have taught you things in the past, bringing back a return of teachers, a return of foreigners, a return maybe travel. If you're traveling in August, you're going places you've been before. And if you're wanting to travel in August, I would recommend going places you've already visited before. Otherwise, if you're going to new places and if it's out of your control, you can't help it, fine, then just prepare in advance ahead of time. But if you're going somewhere, you just don't want to go somewhere new on a Mercury retrograde in your ninth house. You just don't. If you can at all avoid it, wait till after the first week of September. Okay, so the squares to Uranus in your sixth house. This is kind of interesting. This is look back to the 21st of July. That is when we had the full moon in Capricorn and we had the first disruption, Mercury and Leo squaring Uranus in the sixth house. So, what that told me was you're going to absolutely have, like, for some of you, maybe a change and a disruption in your daily life. Now, maybe that could have been like what happened. That was, that's that could have all been like part of like the political stuff that was happening at the time. Maybe, maybe not. But in any case, there was a disruption in your daily schedule, in the daily regularly scheduled programming that is your life. But this could have also been like a mental break, not like a breakdown or anything. I mean, maybe, but like doesn't have to be. This would be more of a disruption of how you look at what you're doing. Like if you're taking on a burden or a sacrifice, you could learn to see that differently and you could take it on with pride. You could take it on with a sense of like strength and see new meaning in it and derive new meaning in it, because the squares are trying to elevate your belief system. It's trying to elevate and broaden and expand your worldview. This is the only unfortunate thing about, like, maybe not the only, but how I kind of see it is like you're a Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising. I have my Venus in Sag. I love this energy. You're able to see everything all at once. But your downfall is having Leo on the ninth house, because Leo is like the dark side of Leo can be arrogant and brutish and selfish and greedy and like edging out. That's like the pageant, little pageant girls that like steal each other's shoes, you know? Like you need to have like the spotlight. The dark side of it is like you need to have the moral superiority, or you need to know everything, or you need to have everyone believe that what you say and your perspective and what you know is correct. And I don't care how you dress it up. I don't care if you're talking like, "Oh, and if you find this to not be true, that's totally up to you." Like I don't care how you package what you're saying. I know the dark side of you. If you're like if you're channeling the darker energy, I know in the back of your mind, because you got Scorpio on your 12th house, I know in the back of your mind that's running. That's the script that's running. So it doesn't get by me. Doesn't get by me, doesn't get by some of the more intuitive people. So this, if you had to have like either the moral high ground in a situation or the last say on an ethical situation, or if you wanted the grip and the stronghold on travel plans or a teaching plan or an educational rubric or agenda, or to kind of like control teaching or knowledge or gatekeeping or anything like that, and have like a very set mind about life, seeing life a certain way. Like that's what's getting broken up over the month of August. And the first hit was the full moon Capricorn, July the 21st. And so the square is trying to not just disrupt your daily life, but also how you approach your moments. So, moment to moment, maybe you're discovering that you were like kind of ruminating on politics too much, or maybe like this is also telling you, like, do not argue with your coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, or anyone that supports you, that you employ, or anyone that you also work with. Do not argue with them about beliefs or religion or spirituality or politics. No. Now, I say that. However, there could be maybe you are a barista somewhere and you just, it's out of your control. And maybe you have, so they hired somebody new and they just like, they're like a political news junkie and stuff. And you just can't escape it. And you just have to work with them, like just going off on it. Even that experience is making you grow and getting you out of your comfort zone, and the disruption is helping break you open because in that particular example you're practicing tolerance, and that tolerance is better for you. Having that tolerance is healthier for you. Having and practicing that tolerance is better for your ethics and morals and your world beliefs and your perception on life in the world. And it's going to, that temperance, that is going to make you a better teacher or orator or writer or sharer of knowledge or whatever, you know. So it's kind of like something like that. I see those kinds of breaks happening. Now the trine to Chiron in the fifth house, I love this. This is why I love it for you guys so much, is that it could be so very healing when it comes to your children, your, and this could be like children of the mind, your creative passion projects, your actual babies, your actual children. There's something so healing where I love this. Like, if you have kids, to be like, this is going to be where you find like a new way to teach them something that you love to teach them, or you find a new thing to teach them, or you find a new way to share your creativity with them. Okay, so here's how I parent. How I parent, me, Natalie parent, Natalie mom, play. All I do is play. It's all play. And it's like, if they're like fire sign kids, like I have, or fire and air sign, not so much air sign, more fire sign kids, I'll have a lot of things going at the same time: a movie, snacks, and paper and markers and crayons and things, and keep, they're all, you know, stimulated and right. But it's always play. Number one, I start with play. Play whatever game they want to play for a good hour. That's the first hour. It's just whatever they want to play. Then I'll incorporate my games or my ideas. And it doesn't matter whose game we're playing. What matters is that we're playing. And through play is how I teach them things. So, you know, if they're playing the same scene over and over, the doll comes in and, you know, makes the omelet and then serves it at the little mini diner, and they do that over, they do it 50 million times, because you know kids, when they play the same little thing like over and over again. Or if they're in the dollhouse and the little girl doesn't clean her room, and the mom says, no, clean your room, and there's a, they run that over and over again. That is when I insert some kind of lesson. That is when I put in something I'm trying to teach them or show them or want them to learn, or you know, something like that. So that's how I do it. That's how I parent. And so I see that, I see something like that's like my version of it, but like I see something with Sagittarius is that if you have like children, you could find like a new way or a different way, a healing way that heals your relationship with your children, of you being the ninth house teacher, mentor, guide, guru, orator, someone sharing their knowledge and their wisdom. And it would be either to or with your children, or you could be improving a creative project, creative passion project, because of how your world beliefs are evolving. And so that could be very exciting. So I love that for my Sagittariuses, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. But it's going to be on the 18th of August that you have the Cazimi happening. And that 𝚑𝚎 is going to be in the ninth house. And this is kind of interesting. Like, I wonder if you're going to get some wonderful news that, like, maybe Condé Nast wants to publish your, I don't know, something, something, or, Hearst wants to publish your something, something, like something, it could be like publication. Like the ninth house is like that spreading of knowledge and information. So it could be, if that applies for you, it could be something like that. But it could, at the very least, is going to be a major injection, a major shot in the arm to your belief systems. You're going to be very, um, yeah, you're gonna be really, really like full. Like your mind, you're gonna have a big old brain that day. Like your brain's gonna be like filled to the max, like pushed to the like little edges of the limit of what's possible. Something about your world belief wasn't right, and you're just correcting it. And so I'm excited for you guys, because like, what is that? What's going to be? It's going to be something kind of like interesting and exciting, but it's going to also prove, it's going to show you the problem. It's going to pinpoint the real freaking linchpin of what's been like the issue in your belief system. What's like the wrongest thing, or what's the thing to fix, or what's the aberration, or what's the root of it. That's like the thing of the thing. And also it'll come with a solution. That's like, oh, that's what it is. That's the thing. That's what it is. Okay. And then you can move forward. And then when you make all these changes, when you're making these adjustments, when you're elevating your worldview, you're changing your perception on your daily life, on your daily routine. You're looking, maybe you're doing some grunt work and you're kind of ungrateful. And then this August, you're becoming like, oh my God, I'm blessed. Oh my God, I am so blessed. This is incredible how lucky I am. I'm so grateful to do this grunt work. Oh my God, thank you so much for the opportunity. It could be something like that. Okay, that's all I got for you. Sagittarius, I love you guys. Take very, 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 very good care over this Mercury retrograde. May the force be with you. Power to every Sag out there. And thank you for taking up the Sagittarius mantle of consciousness. I appreciate you. All right, Capricorns. Time to keep it the absolute most freaking real. All right, guys. So here we are. We're doing this Capricorn freaking. Okay. Look back to the Capricorn full moon, July the 21st. That's when we had the first big like mental disruption. Welcome to the Mercury retrograde. I should give you guys the full, the razzle dazzle. Welcome, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, risings to your Mercury retrograde. This is happening in our eighth house of Leo, predominantly, mostly in the eighth house of bonds and boundaries, sexuality, what we share with other people, what they share with us. It's also where we process life transformation and big life changes. Okay. And then it's going to be a little bit of Virgo when we get to move on, but it's mostly going to be in the Leo area of life. However, so we're dealing with the deep, these are deep, deep waters. These are deep. I mean, it's deep, deep fire, deep into the flames, because we have firehouses. So, we're rethinking and rewiring how we approach life changes, our attitudes, our perspectives. This is definitely going through gunk. I'm trying to look at this the most optimistically, but this is still going through gunk. It just is. It's just going through gunk, and it's either going to be, I feel like this is for us, it's either the whole month of August, it's either going to feel like we're dropping weight after weight after weight and getting lighter and lighter as we move towards September, or we could feel kind of like more stir crazy and kind of frustrated, and like it's internalized. I feel like this energy, if it doesn't, I feel like it can get a little bit internalized. So the first disruption, like I said, was July the 21st at the Capricorn full moon. And we're going to have two more disruptions. It's Mercury squaring Uranus in the fifth house. And this is rethinking how we're sharing with other people, what we're sharing with other people. It's what it's really trying to do is elevate our connections. It's really trying to level up our bonds and boundaries, and make the boundaries even more firm. And like, how would I put this? Like, if a boundary is porous, it's like Swiss cheese and something can get through it super easy. But if a boundary is like the freaking, I don't want to say anything political, but if it's like really, but if the boundary is just like a big wall, like if it's a really, or if it's like a really solid tank. Ain't nothing getting through that. And see, that could be great when they're great boundaries, but it could be self-detrimental when we're keeping out things that feed our soul and that bring our heart alive, that bring our heart online. We have Leo, flamboyant Leo in the eighth house. So this is trying to elevate our trust in the universe, elevate our trust in life changes, elevate our ability to lighten our hearts and let go of baggage and let go of things. And it's going to be through our creative passion projects, love, sex, dating, passion, play, romance, pets, all those things that help to liberate us, liberate our hearts, and hopefully create like a lighter. There may be an actual transition happening too. There may be an actual life change happening over the month of August that you are actually going through because of what's happening with your child, what's happening with your creative passion project, what's happening with someone you're dating, what's happening with your small business. And so at the dark side, this could just be a lot of like freaking you get up with an ex in the past from the past and you just spend August going back and forth with them. Maybe they're like non-committal or they're leading you on, or you're not. Maybe it's really like on and off. Maybe they love bomb you a couple days and you don't see them. Like I can see this getting like, ugh, you know. So don't do that. Just don't do that. But I feel like this is going to be great because you're here and you're here and you're here. So of course it's going to be great. Now the trines to Chiron in the fourth house is either going to be very healing, where you're going to kind of be very aware of these particular wounds and how they were created from your childhood or through your parents, or how you inherited baggage issues or you inherited karmic issues from your parents or a parent, and you can let it go now and it's theirs, it's not yours. You don't have to own it just because it happened to them, or you know what I'm saying? Like you could like it could be very healing and helping you to release the baggage from the eighth house, especially familial baggage, like when it's coming through the fourth house, ancestral stuff. Or like I said, it could just be hitting that pain point over and over again. And emotionally, we're just getting where it's just like pain for pain, where there's like Chiron could be like unnecessary pain. I've seen things in charts with people and I see them like going through all this pain and I have no idea why. Like they are literally choosing to go through it. And it's all this Chiron stuff and they just like go for it and they just hit that, and it's a subconscious addiction to whatever it is, rejection or whatever. So for some caps, and this again will depend on your age, where you are in life, your perspective, so you definitely want to have some kind of mental mechanism to keep it all together to process your feelings, because you don't want to shut off your feelings and you don't want to shut off your mind. You can have it all. Okay. So it could be very healing of the baggage and the wounds and everything, and open up the heart space more and have more joy into your life. It's going to be the 18th of August that we have the Mercury 𝚑𝚕𝚗, and this is going to be where we get to pinpoint exactly like what was the problem. What was keeping us from making friends? What was keeping us from opening up sexually to a new person? What was keeping us from really connecting with a lover or a family member, or like trusting people? What was keeping us from all that? What was keeping us from what would really make us truly like satisfied? What was keeping us from trusting in life itself? Maybe there was a big crisis in the childhood and you just lost trust in life, and it was just like you clench and you clamp it down and that thing is like safe. What was that? What was the event? It could be very much the time for us to heal all this stuff, but the Mercury 𝚑𝚕𝚗 is going to be when we can like we know what that is. We know what the event was. We know what the thing is, because it's also going to come with the solution. It's also going to come with, I would say, for caps, for that Mercury 𝚑𝚗𝚕𝚗, we're probably going to know where we stand with people, or where we stand on a transition or a life change or in a situation or something. And so that's why I'm going to say just kind of keep an open mind, because you want to elevate your bonds and your boundaries and elevate your trust in life, where you can be, because Leo's confident. So we Capricorns, we should be the most confident in life changes. We should be the most confident in overhauling our lives or changing our lives. We need to have that kind of confidence. We can't go into it like with our tail in between our legs and shaking in our little boots. Like we got to like fully commit to it with our full heart. So this is going to be addressing where we have not been able to do that, or where the wound was, but also the solution as well. Solution as well. The way we're doing it right is that we come out of this into the beginning of September with improved relationships, stronger bonds, stronger boundaries, with a bigger, more open heart, more access to love and to affection and creativity and passion, and a much greater sense of lightness when it comes to just like healing and letting go and releasing the familial gunk and the familial baggage and stuff like that. As you go into the beginning of, okay, so I was actually looking away at the chart, and I didn't know when it stopped and when it got all glitchy. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that Mercury retrograding in the 8th house with the Chiron stuff again is going to help us kind of release and let go of. When we pinpoint what that 𝚑𝚘𝚎 is, Mercury is going to trine Chiron both times, retrograde and direct, kind of back to back. So the first trine is early in July the 18th, and then the next two trines, August the 22nd, September 1st. So it's like we're really, at the very end, we're really trying to clean this up and heal it up, and then when we come out of it, we have better bonds, better boundaries. Mercury moves into Virgo, and once we clean up and we're getting, closer to someone that we just started dating, or maybe there's a romance that comes back from the past, exes coming back from the past. Let's see if that's the case. If that's the case, listen, Caps, everyone's going to do what they're going to do, okay? Everyone just does what they're going to do. So if you're going to do it, if you're going to entertain the ex or go back to the past, it has to elevate, and it has to, or if this is like a renaissance in your personal relationship with like a spouse or something, that would be better. But like it, it just needs to be elevated in terms of maybe you're empty nesters and now it's like full on fun, and it's like fun, 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 fun. Whatever it is, it's like it has to be kind of like different, and it has to work different, and it has to be in accordance with your values and you getting your needs met. Like, do you even have the same needs? Like, can they meet your needs? Can you meet their needs? Like, that would be something that comes up, and you're ready to take like a different stance where you would be ready to say like, no, I actually need more. Like, I love you, but like I don't think you can really like show up for me like in the way that I need you to show up, and that's what I need. So like, I love you, and then that's like the closure that you get and move on later. So then when Mercury moves into Virgo, you've cleaned up your bonds and boundaries, and now it's like you're really, the mind has moved on towards like reflection on all that stuff, and maybe you're writing, maybe you're talking about it to people, maybe you're talking to a therapist, maybe you are learning new things, or just kind of just moving on generally. So it looks like August is the month to kind of redo these things, and then going into September, you're ready to philosophize on all that's transpired in August, and there will be a lot to think about and to process. So like I said, have some kind of mental mechanism that's going to help you out. I love you, Caps. Take very good care. Have a fantastic Mercury retrograde. Hopefully it's on the better, brighter, happier, cooler side than not. Appreciate all of us going through this consciousness together, and have a good one. Have a good one. Wow, Aquas. Wow. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Risings, welcome, welcome to our Mercury retrograde happening in our 7th house. Yes, I am an Aquarius moon. So, my fellow aliens, this is the week. There's just no getting around it. This is going to be a doozy, and it's going to be very healing, or it's going to be even more obvious of an eyesore, problems that we didn't fix last summer. Okay. So Mercury's retrograding through our 7th house of partnerships, one-to-one relationships. That's any one-to-one relationship. So that's, your best friend, it's your partner, it's your, a parent, it's a client, it's an enemy, a professional, consultant, consigliere, someone that you would hire, like a professional person. All the one-to-one professional relationships. And these are people that you take advice from. Okay. One-to-one personal, like one-to-one relationships that you maybe would take advice from, that sixth house, those relationships, you do not take advice from them. You hire them to do work and that's it. The seventh house of one-to-one partnerships, these are people maybe that it's more like that. Okay. Or like a doctor, you would like get their guidance. That'd be the seventh house. Okay. So we are rethinking these relationships. We are reworking these relationships. This is also a classic, the ex comes back from the past, or someone comes back from the past, Mercury retrograde energy. So there's maybe karmic relationships that come up during this time. If you meet anyone new on a Mercury retrograde, yes, they may be a soulmate, but don't get into the relationship until after Mercury's out of shadow, until after September the 11th. Because if you start the relationship on a Mercury retrograde, you could have second thoughts later, especially with this very dramatic one. This particular Mercury retrograde is kind of dramatic, and even more so for you guys. Definitely don't get married on a Mercury retrograde, all of the things. Okay. So relationships could, the other people, the other person could also have like an issue. They may even be rethinking their relationship with you. So what this is ultimately trying to do, this entire retrograde, is to elevate your relationships, elevate how you approach relationships, elevate the actual relationships that you have and the ones that you are in. So how is Mercury doing this? Well, they're doing it through some upheaval. So we have the squares to Uranus happening to the fourth house of Taurus. So hold on. Dang, I talk a lot. Okay. So I don't know, where was I? Aquas. I think I was talking about the squares to Uranus. The squares to Uranus and the Taurus fourth house is telling me that there's going to be like, honestly, like we could actually move far and change our whole home. We could change our entire living situation, and that could be like a whole thing. Okay. Um, if it's not mundane like that, this could definitely be like people, um, like roommates, family members that are the sources of our like discontent. Like it's something about the other person. They're doing something that like shakes us up and causes like an emotional reaction. It doesn't have to be family members or women in the family. It's anybody, any person that stands across from us. So think back to around July the 21st, the Capricorn full moon. What was it? Who was it? Or, something could have triggered Aquarius's. I know one that um got into a fight, went to prison, an Aquarius, the full moon in Capricorn, because that was our 12th house of secret sorrow, self undoing. So she was just like triggered. Some other person, some stranger just triggered her, and then she went off, got into a fight, tried to fight this girl, landed in jail. A very 12th house, the jail, the prison, that's 12th house as well. So that's the first disruption. And there's going to be two more. And so it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of people, somebody else doing something, saying something kind of shocking us into a new emotional reality. Hmm. Okay. But what that's really trying to do is elevate the nature of relating, elevate our relationships themselves, elevate how we show up in relationships and in partnerships. So, like in that example, the person that went to jail, like she should have just stop, drop, and roll. No, she should have just like pause to like assess how she feels and like to figure out what's going on. And if she would have, and maybe she did, I don't know, but like probably not. But if you self-reflect after something like that, for instance, then you get to mine the experience for wisdom and to change how you react later to stuff. And maybe, when someone triggers that person, okay, they pause. They don't go into a rage. You know what I'm saying? Like this is so for us, this is about like an emotional evolution, like emotionally growing up to accommodate relationship changes, to accommodate maybe even the needs of another, whether that's like a client-based business, social media, online, family members, partners, all of like our people, our primary main people. So that's how you want to see this going forward. And then we should have great, wonderful, better relationships by the end of August going into September. So I wouldn't also be surprised if this did result in certain relationships just ending and separating and breaking apart, and just like a sharp disconnect, or a sharp, I mean, maybe it's a sharp inclusion, like someone just like falls into your arms, someone just like falls into your life, and like, oh my god, and it's a maybe, but even that may not be consistent. That might just be a flash in the pan too. So that's another thing. So maybe it's like a flash in the pan both ways. Like the feelings that you feel, maybe it's just a flash in the pan and you don't have to go into a rage and attack people at Benihana or something. So it's just going to be something that you want to look at. And guys, I'm telling you right now, I've had rage issues. I've had this very issue with like anger and rage and authority issues. So I'm telling you, there's no place in my heart that judges anyone that flies off the handle and goes and attacks someone at Benihana. I promise you, because that's who I used to be. I didn't attack people. I didn't do that. I have integrity. So I would like wait and save it up until I saw an injustice happening. And then I would just like give myself full permission to just go unhinged, full force, lunging myself at the situation, in defense of the underdog. So, I had it and I used it like in a very different way. So, whatever like triggers you or gets your goat or gets under your skin or whatever, you want to like just take a pause, take a breath, and go back and reassess, because it is trying to make you better in relationships, and it's also trying to give you better relationships. But it may show this through relationship problems over the month of August. The other person may not feel sparkly. You might not feel sparkly. There could be power issues and control, especially if this is playing on the family with family members. So glad I don't have any of that drama anymore. You have no idea. So, some of you could also just be like, I had so many reptiles growing up, like shedding skin and letting go of things with the Iranian squares. Like you're shocked out of a bad pattern, you're shocked out of a bad habit. Maybe you fly off the handle and you're like, okay, I gotta put this to bed. I'm too old for this, or I gotta put this to bed. This isn't me anymore, or I gotta put this to bed. I don't even feel this way anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're ready to like just let go of emotional ruts ever since 2018. But right now, it's like emotional patterning in relationships, especially if this is anything to do with people you live with or roommates or anything like that. So, so that's going to be what breaks up over August, and to be reorganized better and packaged better and be more alivened and enthused, you know, the trines to Chiron in the third house, this can go one of two ways. Like it's either going to be mentally painful and painful conversations and wounded conversations with another person that just bring up wounding and it's really painful, dark thoughts and things. Or it's going to be healing conversations that you have with other people that um that heal you mentally and psychologically. You could be the one to assuage relationships and try to like heal them up, but you'll have to be vulnerable. Like you're not going to, and like that's just not like our thing. Like I don't know if it's I'm a Capricorn or if it's my moon in Aquarius that I get like vulnerability hangovers where I always like regret it. I just do. I don't know what it is. I just do. I just always have a vulnerability hangover and I fucking regret it. And I just wish I didn't say it. I wish I didn't open up. I wish I didn't say the thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't do that. Have the opposite of that. Let your do it, say it, talk about it without having a vulnerability hangover. Like don't have like an ego about it. So this is going to be humbling for any Aquariuses that have egos. Um, yeah, yeah. Then on the 18th of August, we have the Sun Mercury Cazimi happening in the seventh house. That's definitely going to be a moment where you know where you stand with another person or with other people, or like in a travel situation, you could definitely know where you stand at that day. Maybe the other person has like some big thing to tell you or some big news to tell you. You could have been waiting for it and you could have been expecting it. And then that's like the day that it comes in. Or if you're not expecting it, that could just be the day that it comes in, the day that it happens. And like I said, you really know where you stand with that person. And it could really decide like what happens next and where the relationship goes after this big revelation. But honestly, you are also going to like understand the problems. Like you're going to be able to pinpoint the issue either in like primary relationships, maybe one particular relationship, but it's also going to come with the answer. So you're going to need to use like the last 3 to 4 months of experience and knowledge and wisdom in order to inform the fresh start, to start new. And that's what you want to do. So that by the beginning of September, when Mercury moves into the eighth house, it's so much better of a joy to share with the other people. So this is like, you're definitely reorganizing relationships. Like there's going to be certain relationships that come in, that leave, that come back, that leave again. Like, start and stop, back and forth. There could be like all that happening. And then they kind of get set into place. Everyone kind of just like figures out where they belong in your life, or you figure out where people belong in your life. And then Mercury goes into the eighth house, and it's more like then you share with them. So for Aquas, maybe you're going to really spare yourself the vulnerability hangover and you wait till September to like bond, but you can still bond in August. It's just you're going to bond even more and even cleaner and clearer in September moving forward. All right, that's what we got for Aquas, Sun, Moon, Risings. Have a fantastic Mercury retrograde, and thank you again for taking up the Aquarius mantle of consciousness. Hello, my lovely Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to the grand finale of this entire video. Okay, my loves, welcome to your Mercury retrograde. You guys are doing this retrograde in your sixth house of staff, managers, supervisors, immediate supervisors, coworkers, anyone that works for you. And this is also your daily life, your daily rituals, your daily routines, people you see every day, what you're doing every day, and how you approach the moments of your life. This is also like the day job and where we do grunt work, where we take on sacrifices because we want to. We love the cat, but don't want to do the cat litter, but we do the cat litter. The cat litter, this is the cat litter house where we do the cat litter. And it could be either putting something to bed from last summer or being more of an eyesore of something that was a problem last summer. Now, this is trying to really, really wrap that all up. And it's going to be a bit of a ride. Okay. So part of what's changing over is the quality of life moment to moment, the quality of life on the day to day, the quality of even like your staff or the people that you hire or the people that you're working with or the day job or the day jobs that you have. So Mercury is going to make 3 squares to Uranus. The first one was July the 21st. That was the first disruption. There's going to be multiple disruptions. That was the first. So what was going on around that time? There was likely a communication, an email, a text message, a phone call, something maybe from a staff member or someone that works for you or a colleague or a coworker or some part of daily life, maybe just something you saw in your neighborhood, some email you got or something you saw or something happened on the way to work or something like that. So that was the first one. There's 2 more. And like, but all that's trying to do is elevate your quality of life. All that's trying to do is elevate your thinking and how you're approaching your life, how you're approaching even your work. If you like, this is also like people, like I said, people that work for you, but this is like how you approach these people, how you approach your relationships to these people. And this is ruled by Leo. So if you have staff, if you have house staff, there's glitzy, they're glammy. They may be a little bit proud and arrogant, but they may also be really entertaining and really, really fun. You, Pisces, need a lot of fun in your daily life. So this would be a great Mercury retrograde to work on incorporating more fun or more fun people into your daily life and daily routines. So the squares over August could help give you some new ideas as to what that could look like or what that could be, what would be more fun for you on the daily life. July 21st gave you the first little glimpse, the first little like disruption that maybe was a little bit disruptive and a little bit like irksome and difficult, but it did show you a preference. Like even if something's going bad or wrong or something we don't like, it drastically puts it in perspective what we do like and what we do want. So there's that. Also happening over August is Mercury trining over to Chiron and Aries in your second house. This is either going to feel very healing, where your values are in alignment with how you're making money and how you're hiring people, or how you are working at your day job making money, and you're aligned with the values of the coworkers and everyone's working great together. And this is like healing up something where it was off last summer, where there was maybe fighting in the workspace or fighting at the office, or your values didn't align with theirs or theirs didn't align with yours, or there was drama last summer at the office. This could be August where there's like a healing of that drama, a healing of the value in difference, a healing if you didn't make a lot of money last summer. This could be where you kind of get it going again because you are changing your approach to the staff. You're changing your approach to your own rituals and routines. Let's say you work from home. Maybe you revamp your entire work day and you do more working out or you do more stuff outside, whatever happens to be. This is your daily life here that we need to change in order to increase your money and increase your self esteem. So it's either going to be like healing in that sense, or it's going to be wounded and painful. And with Chiron, it could feel like pain, 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 wound, wound, wound. So it could just feel like your confidence is dipping, and you may be rethinking your daily life. You may be rethinking your staff. You may be rethinking the day job, or rethinking what you're doing day to day, or you may be rethinking how you are approaching that day to day. And how you may be rethinking your communications and how you handle things, or how you have handled things, or how you generally approach the daily life or the rituals and routines. If you need to make more money, maybe you can't sleep in, like that's simple. You need to wake up earlier. If you really want to be able to work from home, maybe you need to revamp your schedule so that you're able to, financially support yourself running the home based business. And this is like you healing up any holes in what you need to be successful. You need more play. You need to feel adored. You need to feel like hard work is really fun. You need to feel like you're not making any sacrifices. Or if you are, like, this is just like, I don't see Leo making any sacrifices for anything. So that's either you in your daily life, or that's like your coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, and your staff and people you employ. So, if you're doing this kind of the Cazimi, let's talk about the Cazimi. The Cazimi is the 18th of August, and that is when you really see and pinpoint the problem or the issue with your staff or your daily life, or a health issue. August can also be a health issue for Pisces. It could be mental health and or physical health. And if that's the case, if that's more of the focus, then the disruptions could have been July the 21st, a mental health disruption, a communication that rocked your mental health a little bit. And then there's going to be a couple more hits to the mental health in the month of August that could like trigger some pain points, trigger some self-esteem issues. And it's going to be something that you just got to work through and work on throughout the month of August. But it is trying to elevate your gratitude and appreciation for your moments. If that's the case, if it's like a self-esteem thing or like a mental health thing, it's like incorporating strong mental strength. I shouldn't even say mentally strong things in your daily life to protect you, to protect you. So really take a look. If you skip the Stoic stuff, go back and watch my Stoic journaling stuff at the very beginning of this video. You might like it. Try it. You might just like it. It might just make you feel like kind of better in the mornings to start your day like that and feeling really good and empowered, or start your day doing something fun, whatever works for you. But by the end of August, going into September, you should come out of this with a much smoother running work life, smoother running rituals and routines, workflow. You want to think workflow, a smoother workflow. Maybe you need to upgrade some gadgets or something, upgrade some technology for that, replace some employees with AI. I'm kidding. That's such a joke. But like, you have to like improve that workflow or improve your daily life in some way, shape, or form. Then after the first week of September, Mercury is going to be in Virgo and it's out of the shadow and it's going to be better for the relationships. It's going to be more of a focus on the people. And we'll talk about that then. So, all right, my lovely Pisces, have a great Mercury retrograde. And thank you again for taking up the Pisces mantle of consciousness. I appreciate you.